Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 146. We had some technical issues. Sean was his camera was all over the place, but he got it figured out, so we're good there. And then we're having a hard time with some audio equipment with our guest tonight, Alpha Omega Sin. Alpha, how you doing tonight?
Assuming everybody can hear me, great. If not, then still kind of good. My cat was sick today, so that's what I was dealing with all day today.
Oh no!
Because everybody cares about that.
What was wrong with your cat?
He's trying to hack up a hairball and he can't, and it's been like this for like a couple days straight. So I had to go get him medicine and a bunch of other stuff, and now he's doing better. So I'm happy.
Poor kitty.
Okay. Very good. Then we have Sean here. Sean, your green screen's in full effect, which is great.
Well, I have to turn it off for a second.
Okay, what's up, Sean?
Oh god.
We have to eat.
Well, hold on. Do you want to explain what's happening right now?
What's going on here? What are you doing?
No explanation. Everyone go to hell.
Don't garnish.
Make them full screen.
I have to garnish a little.
Oh yeah.
So I said that Sony was going to be at E3. Stupid Nate obviously had inside information and said they weren't going to be at E3. You had inside information. Go to hell.
That's not fair.
So we're gonna have to eat. We're gonna have to eat part of Mitch because that was the thing. We have doused this in La Victoria salsa verde, thick and chunky medium. So here we go.
Well.
Oh no.
Poor Mitch.
Swallow it. Let's go in on that real quick so you can see that facial feature going.
Oh man.
What's the use by date on that salad dressing?
It's salsa, but it's good. I got it from Amazon not too long ago.
Oh man.
I like Nate's picture.
You know we went off the air and Nate just started laughing last week, right?
Piece of crap.
There it is. Yeah.
You should just grab one of the ones I did on Twitter, man. Check it out.
Oh man.
No, I have several.
Several.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
Okay. Well, thanks,
Oh
Sean.
my god.
Well, you see misclick there 1, 2, 3 times. Is that from playing Ring Fit?
Yes. All right. You know, because I'm actually listen. I told people I would do Ring Fit challenges, and I'm actually sticking to it. So you know what? If that's the face of progress, I will gladly don that.
How's it going? How's it going this week, misclick?
It's going all right. Yeah. Good week.
Good. And then we have returning to the podcast after how many weeks has it been, OJ? It's
like
been
a month
3 or
and
4
a
weeks.
quarter.
It's been a year.
It's been a while. OJ is back from his vacation,
Hey.
getaway, all of that. How's it going, man? How's the last month been?
It's been interesting because it feels like you know, like the type of content that we do, you know, like you're always doing stuff over and over, and the fact that like I wasn't doing anything was really weird. But I'm really happy to be back, and it feels like it's been forever, but I'm like super happy to be back. Just my internet situation where I was at just wasn't very good, so I wasn't able to do stuff, but I'm happy to be back on the podcast, man. And yeah, I saw that weird ass misclick looking picture. And
Oh my god.
my fiance was like, "Who's that?" She's like, "Who's that? And what is she doing? You know her?" I'm like, "No, I don't know who she is. I don't know who that is at all." No, I'm joking.
Fiance? Well, wait a minute now. That's new news for a lot of people.
Yeah, I married a random person as soon as I just saw. I was like, I'm out, and I was just like, hey, I need to get married by somebody. So no, I've been dating this nice young lady for the past year or so, and we decided to get married. So there you go. That's what I was doing,
man.
Thank you.
Very nice. Is she gonna be in some of your streams or videos then?
Yeah. She's not really into gaming much, but she likes to dance. So maybe she can dance like Ring Fit or something. I don't know.
Just dance on the Wii.
Yes, Just Dance. There you go. But no, I got her. We were playing like Super Smash Brothers. She's trash, but you know I'll help her. We were playing
But
Mario
she's
Kart.
cute trash.
Yeah. She got like 5th one time in Mario Kart, and she was freaking out. So there you go. So I'm gonna get her good at video games.
Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate all the support. You guys were awesome all on Twitter and everything, so I appreciate you guys, man.
And then we have MVG returning as usual with the Windjammer shirt on. Very nice, representing.
What's going on? What's going on? Of course, got to represent the Neo Geo.
That was on the big screen at MagFest actually. So.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, people are playing that on the big screen, like the big projection screen in the middle of the hall. So it was good to see that.
As it should be. It's a great game.
Absolutely. Looking forward to the sequel when that drops. I think this year.
Yep.
It's out. Yeah. So I'll be on that quick. But how's your week been, MVG?
It's been a good week, man. It's been a good week. Been playing some games. Sean's book arrived today. It was yesterday. That was exciting to finally get hold of the book, and very, very good job you did there, Sean. So
thank you.
Waiting for the next one, man. I mean, you've obviously got the talent for it. So you got another thing coming soon, or
I've been thinking about. I kind of wanted to do a Virtual Boy book, but like Jeffrey Wittenhagen literally just did one, so it's kind of like, well, that took away the thunder of that. But I mean, there's some systems out there that I'm interested in. I would love to do like something like the Saturn, but the Japanese stuff on the Saturn would be so much, and like so many games I haven't played and won't have a chance to check out. But I'm thinking about other stuff though. I'm definitely thinking about other stuff.
Right on.
And you hand signed how many of those?
220.
Wow, jeez.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's go over here to Nate. Nate, what's going on?
Not too much. Watching it snow.
You feel pretty good conning Sean out of a piece of Mitch?
Yeah, that was a victory for today. It's a good victory.
Oh, that was great. Like I said, Sean went off air and Nate just started laughing after you left. So
I should have known the fix was in.
You really think I'm going to make a bet to appear on camera if I had a chance of losing?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Come on.
See, look, there you go, Sean. Some people are saying they got the autographed copy in the mail of the book.
Awesome. Sorry it took so long. Amazon was a lot more delayed than I thought it would be. And then when I shipped them, they were supposed to be there. Here's a quick little side note. So I shipped them off to Ryan at Castlemania after signing them. And then like a week after the estimated date when they were supposed to come in, he was like, do you got tracking number on that? And I was like, what? And he was like, I still haven't gotten those books yet. So like I started freaking the fuck out because I was like, holy shit, all those books are lost. Now I'm gonna have to redo all this again. But luckily I found the receipt for it, and like Media Mail, I guess they just put a random date on there because they ended up coming like 8 or 9 days after the estimated date that we're supposed to get there. But thankfully they got there.
Yeah, Media Mail is actually kind of scary. It's cheap, but they don't track it that well.
Yeah, like I was definitely nervous about it, but luckily they showed up. So
let's go over to Jordan. Jordan, how's it going?
Not bad.
Not bad. Good week.
Yeah, not bad.
Pretty good. No, it's good to hear, man. Good to hear. And then we have Evan. Evan, what's up?
Not much, man.
Good. So we want to talk video games before we get into some of these topics. What's everyone been up to? What we've been playing?
Skyrim.
Other than Miss Click, who's been playing Ring Fit, obviously, as I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different times here in front of me.
That's my favorite one. Is that Teletubbies?
That was a fun one to make. Yes.
He was just in chat during stream. Round 4. I'm going, and I'm like, oh my god.
I like the giraffe one.
Giraffe was good.
Sure you do.
The Pokemon giraffe one was really good. Yeah, that was really good.
What about the one where she's like the
chest burster?
The chest burster.
I got that.
Not what it looked like.
People are taking to the Baby Yoda one as well. So
Yeah,
the Baby Yoda one. I didn't see that
I
one.
haven't seen that
Baby,
one.
yeah. Baby
And then someone
Yoda's
followed
good.
his lead and made me into Smeagol.
starting to
You
move.
seen that one? You haven't seen that one?
I had people DMing me creations that they made.
Why didn't you post them?
I'll post them. They'll be up tonight.
Okay, well. Dear God.
Oh yeah, video games. I you know what I played? Skyrim.
Why Skyrim?
Because I was stuck in a dungeon in Skyrim from like whenever the hell the last time I played it was on the Switch. And I was determined that I was not going to play anymore until I got past that dungeon, and I could not get past that dungeon. And I had a friend come over on Wednesday, and she was like, "Oh, I'm really good at Skyrim. I could get through the dungeon." Blah blah blah. I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, bullshit." So literally, when she got here and walked in the door, like I had my save loaded, and I just handed her the controller, and I was like, "Get to work. I'm going to smoke a cigarette." And I'll be damned if she did not. Granted, she didn't fight everyone, because like when I play Skyrim, I want to fight everyone. I want to level up. She just went complete stealth bow and arrow bullshit. But she got through the dungeon, and so I've ended up playing a bunch of Skyrim. It ended up being a DLC quest that, like, I thought it was the main quest. No, it was like a DLC quest, and I was severely underleveled. But yeah, like she got me through that dungeon. So I've been playing a bunch of Skyrim, and it's really fun. I got
at the end of this year, Skyrim's gonna be 9 years old.
I know, that's crazy. I saw a tweet about it today.
Oh, it feels older, to be honest, considering like everything that's been made about Skyrim, like and how many times I bought it. It feels like it's like more than a decade old, you know?
Oh, Sean, did you play any more Horizon 4?
Yes, I played it actually last night.
Oh, okay, very nice. Wait, you still enjoying it? I guess if you're still playing it.
Yeah, I do enjoy it. I do sort of go back between that and Gran Turismo on the PS4, just kind of I want something more realistic. But now, like, I have a nice M3 in Horizon, like a 97 yellow that's all kitted out and ridiculous. So I've been having fun with that. But yeah, I'm still playing that.
I did finish up. I finished Need for Speed Heat. That game's done. I hit the end of the game, and I think, you know what, Sean? I think you would like that game a lot.
Whenever it's on sale, I'm gonna pick it up. I just don't feel like dropping $60.
Yeah, because I bought it. I got it. I wanted to get it physically, and I got it for, I think it was like $30. I think it was $30 even on Black Friday.
Yeah, I probably should have snagged it then. I'll do $30 or $40 on that.
Yeah,
no problem. But
completely worth it. I think it was. I want to say it was a 25 to 30 hour game.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got some time out of it.
Does it have a good car list?
Surprisingly, yes. It has a lot of the cars from Underground 2 and Carbon, from what I remember, and then it has a lot of the newer cars as well. They even have off-road cars, because there are parts in the game, like challenges, where you need like a Land Rover.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's $39 at Best Buy. So
wow, that's actually good. That's a good pickup then.
Yeah, I'll buy that after the show.
They have like supercars as well, and then they have like basic cars too. Like I think they have like a Ford Focus is in there, but not like the nice Focus like the RS. It's just like a regular one. So
see, I like I'm weird, and I like driving like shitty cars in video games, just because I'll never drive. I'll probably never be in a position to drive one of those. So it's kind of like, well, how does it feel? Why do people, as a front wheel drive as opposed to rear wheel or all wheel drive? So
yeah, they have a lot of the tuner cars and like the cheaper ones that you would pick up on Craigslist or something and fix up. So they have a nice range, and they have the Skyline is in there too. I mean the newer one, yes, but like the old one from the Underground 2 that everybody really remembers,
the R33 or whatever,
the one that was like I think it was on the cover. I just remember that was like the legendary one at the end of that game. It was blue, and you get it, and it was ridiculous at the time. So that's all in there too, though. But Heat is good. Need for Speed Heat, I like that game a lot, so I think it's worth picking up. What about Alpha? What you been up? What did you play this week, man?
I played Goat Simulator yesterday.
Yes.
That was my fastest platinum trophy I ever got.
Goat Simulator, interesting.
I got it in like 2.5 hours. I was like, cool, that was fun. And then I was bummed out because it was on PlayStation Plus, and I thought it came with like Goat Zombie, like all the undead shit and all the DLC, like the Goat MMORPG thing. And it was just a base game. So I was like, damn, that's kind of weak. And then finished up Metro Exodus.
Oh, nice.
Everybody's been playing those.
I think I played halfway through that game, and then I kind of fell out of it a bit. But I should go back and work on that a bit more, because it's playing on the Xbox One.
I mean, it's I like the entire series. Like, was the Metro Redux?
Something came out.
Pack?
Yeah, something came out, and I moved right to that. I'll have to look what came out around Exodus. It was a bigger game. And I moved from Exodus to that.
I thought there were two big titles that came out around that time.
There were a couple things that came out around that. I remember specifically something came out, and I was like, I got to jump to this.
I felt bad because Metro got lost in the shuffle. There was that's kind of what happens with a lot of game releases. It'll be a shit ton of just amazing games coming out all at the same time. and something's got to give. And like Metro, while it's a really good and extremely high quality series, and I like it just because it's definitely like a horror series too, and the books are also pretty neat. It's just it doesn't get the attention that it deserves, I think.
I had to look when it came out, because I feel like there was. Yeah, I'll see when it came out.
2014, the Metro game.
February 15th, 2019 for Metro Exodus, the most recent one, which means that would have been around a lot of stuff, actually. Like that would have been 2 weeks after Kingdom Hearts, I think, came out, and RE3
it was definitely Crackdown.
Or RE2, I'm sorry.
You definitely went to Crackdown.
Well, Crackdown came out, and I was like, I got it. But Crackdown only took me like 8 hours to beat it, and I was done. And I did not play the multiplayer because me and the 3 other people that were playing didn't feel like doing it anymore.
Metro's been sitting in my house for a while. It was on the near infinite stack of things that I was inevitably going to get to, and because there was just trying to find time to get around to playing it. But once I did, it was every bit as good as I was expecting it to be, so it at least lived up to that expectation.
Okay, very cool. What about OJ? You've been out there for a bit, so I don't know if you picked a game and just stuck with it while you're traveling around with the Switch, but
I did, and probably to nobody's surprise, it was Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Hey man, that's a good one. That's a good one, because if it's like an action-heavy game, it's gonna be tough to stop, and that makes sense.
I've never charged my Switch so many times from playing it like in portable mode. I charged it so many times. And I was playing through the Blue Lions campaign, and I'll be honest, man, like I've played through a good portion of the Golden Deer. I've played through all of the Black Eagles. Blue Lions so far is the best one that I've been playing. Now I still need to finish Golden Deer. I still need to finish Blue Lions, but I'm about halfway through, and Dimitri and his story with like his companions and everybody in that house is actually really good. So I'm gonna beat that, and then I'm going to do maddening mode with the Golden Deer. So I'm gonna finish that up there. Hopefully, I don't know if I'll do it before the DLC comes out, but yeah, played a lot of Fire Emblem 3 Houses when I was away. So that was pretty much the main game that I was playing. Didn't really play anything else, but just that. And I played Smash Brothers and Mario Kart like kind of just casually, like with my fiance. But like outside of that, yeah, just Fire Emblem a lot. It's obviously really good, but all the updates has made it so much easier for hard mode is like not hard anymore because of all the updates. It's like Byleth is just super strong, and when you New Game Plus, you can just like instantly get like levels and professor levels. So it's
true,
way it's way easier. So I'm gonna see how it is on maddening mode, like when I play with the. So a lot of fun.
Very nice. Well, you came back at a good time because stuff's gonna start coming out soon. So
it was
back.
It was a great time. It was a great time to come back. But I enjoyed the time, to kind of just like recharge and stuff, and just like to chill and like do other things, What
about MVG? What's up, man? What are you playing?
Dude, I've been going retro hardcore. So I have we've been talking about Metal Gear Solid, but have you guys played the Game Boy Color version? It is legit.
Yes.
It is legit. This is actually, I bought this game. It's got like an Australian price tag on it. I bought this game like years and years ago. I played it once. I thought it was cool, but I never really appreciated it. So I've been playing it all week, actually. I freaking love the game. So
I recommend that to anybody who got into like the OG MSX games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It plays a lot like, and some of the animation in it, especially for being a Game Boy Color game, is really awesome.
Yeah, like the little animated cutscenes are like surprisingly really good in that game. I love that game. I love that game to death.
Yeah, it's so good. So I've been like playing my Game Boy Color this week. Like I've been keeping it really old school, and I've been having a lot of fun actually. So it's been good.
That game's harder to find, right?
Yeah, I checked around like last week to see what it was going for. It's like 150 or something ridiculous. But I got it back in the day, and I never sold it, thankfully.
What system are you playing that on?
Game Boy Color. This puppy right here.
Oh, you're actually playing it. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're playing on an actual Game Boy Color. You're not playing on like the Game Boy player. Is that Game Boy? Is that backlit or frontlit?
This one is not, but I'm probably going to do that. In fact, I want to actually talk to you maybe offline about it, because I know there's like about 7 or 8 different backlights you can get for it, and some of them are pretty good. Some of them, like the bezels, aren't quite right, and I want to know which one the one to get is, because I've seen different ones, and they're all kind of not quite right as far as the bezel goes.
You might as well just outfit a Game Boy Advance then if you're going to do it once.
Yeah, that may be the way to go.
Yeah, because I'll play all those Game Boy, color games and everything. And I mean, I think the form factor for the Advance is a bit better anyway. There's more room for like your hands. But I have the screen for that here. I'm just waiting for the shell to come in. Everything else is here.
Nice.
We're gonna build the ultimate Game Boy Advance, so I'm excited for that one. Is that the major thing though? Playing some Metal Gear on the?
Played a little bit of Heat and Need for Speed Heat. So I've been playing through that too. I'm probably only about 7 hours into it, but yeah, man, it's fun. I completed a couple of races, and then I kind of turn it off, and then a couple of days later I come back to it. So I'll get around to finishing it. I'm almost done with the backlog. The only thing I have after this is Borderlands 3, which I'll start playing probably next week. So
I got to go back to Borderlands 3 also.
That's my line. Is that all you've been playing? Nothing else?
Oh, I bought
What's up, Sean?
I bought Heat.
Oh,
It'll be
nice.
here Tuesday.
Oh, good stuff. What'd you get on the Xbox One?
Yeah.
Nice. What about Nate? You're always playing a weird game, man. Hit us with a weird game.
I wouldn't call the game weird. It's actually really good. So I had to raid my way through the eShop to uncover a gem that came out this week. And it is called To the Moon. It came out on PC a long time ago. It just came out to Switch. And it's a really good game. I don't want to spoil the plot, but at the end, it makes you want to be a better person.
What? It's heavily story driven. So.
Yeah, it's a really story driven game. It was made in like RPG Maker like a decade ago. But it's a really good game. At the end of it, you're just like, damn, I can be a better person than I am. It's emotional, it's powerful.
Sounds legendary.
Sounds horrible. I'm very happy with the person I am.
Until you play To the Moon.
I will not play To the Moon. I did see that game though.
It's really good. It's pretty cheap too. So I mean, if you want a story-driven game, it's really the gameplay is nothing complex. It's really just.
How much is it?
It's either $10 or $15.
Oh, okay.
It's like 6 hours, but
it's like a traditional RPG.
Not really.
No.
I mean, it plays like one, but you're not like fighting squirrels or anything.
Okay.
The game does open with the main characters running over a squirrel.
Nice. What else did you play, Nate? Is that it?
I played. What the hell is the name of this game? Music Car or Music Racer? I don't really know how to explain this game. You drive on a track to music and you collect beats, and then you can crash into poles. The music is decent, has some interesting track designs. It's pretty trippy. It's like an 80s music video.
I learned about a lot of games when I talk to you on here, Nate.
Hey.
You always find the most interesting, the weird ones out of the eShop. You always seem to find, which is impressive because the really eShop is like, finding games in the eShop is not easy right now. So that's actually good.
Well, that's why everyone should be playing To the Moon, or you could play Super Crush KO, which I talked about last week, but I was under embargo, so I can get into gameplay specifics. It's basically a 2D brawler version of Graceful Explosion Machine. So an alien kidnaps your cat, and then it falls in love with the cat. Like in a normal human way, it just loves your cat, and it sends robots that you have to fight. And then it's just keeping your combo until the end of the stage. And you fight bosses, so it's really Graceful Explosion Machine with a person who has a cat.
All right.
I'm allergic to cats though, so
I mean it's fun. The cat meows and just looks all disappointed in life. And
can you pet the cat?
No, you never actually. You just see the cat in like cinematics.
Oh, well,
but it purrs and like judges you.
Oh.
All right, Jordan, let's hear it. What have you been playing?
Playing a whole lot of Borderlands 3 some more. So whenever y'all start it up,
more Borderlands 3.
Know.
Someone say Borderlands 3?
I'll play with whoever starts it. If you're gonna start it, MVG, let me know. I'll play.
Yeah, next week, dude.
What are you playing on console or PC?
PS4 Pro.
I haven't even started up on that. Okay, I can load it up on
Wait, how
there.
many copies of it do you have?
I have it on every platform.
Okay.
Yeah. Just in case someone wants to play, you never know. I played it on Xbox. MVG wants to play it on PS4. Misclick could be like, "Hey, I want to play it on PC."
That game doesn't have crossplay then.
It doesn't?
It was I think it was initially supposed to, or it was talked about having it. I don't ever
That's
know.
kind of a shame.
Well, it's
Maybe it
PvE,
does.
right? So I feel like it shouldn't be that bad to have cross-platform. Right?
So how long are you gonna be on Borderlands 3 then, Jordan?
I don't know. Well, they just started a new event on the 16th that runs to the end of the month, where more harder enemies spawn everywhere, so you can farm them. So they do mini events like that all the time. I'm just going through the rest of the newest DLC right now, clearing up all the extra side missions.
Okay. What about Evan over there? Did you plug in that PS4 Pro?
No, I picked up Orange Blood on PC. It's like a RPG, but its focus is on guns. So there is, in the loot base, there's sort of a Borderlands element to it, but it's played out where the weapons you get interact in a sort of turn-based tactic style combat, which is really cool. And other than that, I just picked up Escape from Tarkov just because my friends were playing it.
Okay, very nice. So I played Need for Speed Heat, beat that, that's done, and I'm a little more than halfway done Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I was going to talk to Max on the podcast today. He wasn't feeling well, so he's not on tonight. But I've enjoyed it somewhat so far. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. It's definitely not the most polished game. I was really, the way they were hyping it up, I thought it was going to be because they said it was single player and they could do certain things because it's not multiplayer. I thought they were going to have a bit more polish to it because some cutscenes look really good and then other ones look like they're like from like the PS2.
Yeah, the trailers looked good, so I could see why you think that.
It is all over the place sometimes. Like sometimes it looks insanely well done, and then other times it's just bad. But the RPG elements are okay. They have a lot of stuff going on in the game. They have a skill tree just for your super attacks and moves, and then your characters level up, and you can see your power levels. Like they actually show them, and that's probably going to annoy a lot of people because some of them are probably wrong. But the gameplay itself is very similar to Xenoverse. Yes,
that's what I saw with the game. It looked, and like when I found out it was like CyberConnect 2, and then when I saw the gameplay, I was like, something just seems a bit off with it. So I'll kind of wait because I knew you were excited for it. So I'll wait to see what John thinks about it. I'm gonna pick it up. I just don't know if it's gonna be like day one, rush out there, go buy and play it. Just those two things. It looks too much like Xenoverse and CyberConnect 2, which CyberConnect 2 is not a bad developer, by the way. They're just weird at times when they make, like, because they make the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, and I've had a love and hate relationship with those games for the past decade. Like it's really cool and it looks really polished at times, but then other times it's like, damn, this looks like.
And I have like 60 gigabytes worth of gameplay footage from it, and I went through and looked at some of it, and some of it looks like it's almost exactly from the show, just like in 3D, game visuals, and then other times it doesn't look like it at all. And to be honest, they had to fight for that teen rating. Because they cut out some of the more violent parts in the show.
I just wanted to see something that was done up in a style of Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku, but on a modern scale.
So I think that's what they tried to do. Sean,
am I not muted? I thought I was muted.
You're not muted.
Sorry. That's what I think they were trying to do was. That's what I think they were trying to do. They thought they would try to make Legacy of Goku for consoles on that scale, and it unfortunately, I don't think it came out as well as they were hoping. It almost feels like certain parts they were just like, just slap it together. Like there were some cool things they could have done. I like when Trunks goes and slices Frieza in half with his sword and then cuts him into pieces and all that. They don't show any of that. So he slices through him, then he just blasts him immediately.
Yeah, but they showed Tien getting his arm punched off at the beginning.
Yeah, I don't get like there's a whole part where like Tien gets his arm punched off. I'm like, okay, maybe they'll actually like try to do some of the more violent scenes. They skip out on a lot of it. Like Frieza getting cut in half with his own like his own destructor disc thing, and it barely shows it, and it's they're fighting for that teen rating. I would like to see them take a good bit of, because I think this will still sell okay for them.
Oh, it'll do well.
I think they could actually get good sales out of a Dragon Ball Z game that they put actual money and time into. So that's what I would like to see. I would like to see the quote unquote what the big budget AAA Dragon Ball Z game. But it's unfortunately not this one. I do think Dragon Ball fans will like it, but if you're not a Dragon Ball fan, it's probably not going to be something you want to pay $60 for.
Is there any type of multi
series is ripe for like the RPG genre?
Yeah, actually there is an RPG Dragon Ball Z game that I can say in a second, but no, there's no multiplayer at all. From what I've seen, there's none. It's all single player. The Dragon Ball Z game RPG that I really liked was Attack of the Saiyans.
Yes, that is my favorite Dragon Ball Z game of all time. It's made by Monolith Soft. It's a turn-based RPG on the DS. It's really good.
It's stuck on the DS. Yes, it is. Like, so when I heard about this game, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, I thought they were going to go into some of the parts where there is just like they could literally make up story and drop it in. Like when Goku's running on Snake Way, they could just make stuff up because he was doing that for so long. You don't even see Snake Way. They just skip it. It's just like Goku ran on Snake Way, and that was it. In
fairness, in the TV show, Snake Way was garbage. Dude. It was so trash.
They had to make some stuff up, but they could have made some cool stuff. So now I'm concerned because the thing that I was hoping they would do in this game, and I'm getting closer because I'm in like the Android Cell saga right now. I was really hoping that Otherworld would be talked about a bit, like they would show how Goku figured out Super Saiyan 3. I think they're just gonna skip that. Like I think that's gonna happen. I think it's just getting skipped, and I'm like, oh. Man, but then they do weird stuff. Like there's a side mission where Puar is trying to deal with the loss of Yamcha, so Puar keeps turning into Yamcha and walking around town, going on dates.
That doesn't sound fun, but it could.
There's a whole side mission with that, and then you explain like you're Krillin, and you explain to Puar what Yamcha said about like, "Don't worry, I'll be back" or something or rather, and like it's weird. Like they picked out some very strange things to have as side missions where they could have done some really cool stuff. But Attack of the Saiyans is definitely the RPG to pick up if you want to. It's not a like it doesn't cover a map. It basically covers up to when Vegeta and Nappa get to Earth and all of that through that part. But they go in depth on some things that take place. But
this whole Dragon Ball's, never mind. I won't say anything.
Go ahead, say it, Jordan.
No, it's all good. What's the next topic? What else are we talking?
I was gonna have a whole video up for it at some point, but it's unfortunate that it's not as good as I was hoping it would be. But there you go. Maybe next time.
Real quick though, like I know, John, you said about like a AAA or a big budget. Like, who would be the developer that could get like a Dragon Ball Z game and like the combat right, like big budget? Like, I mean, like who would Bandai Namco turn to in order to get something like that done?
That is a good question.
HAL Laboratory. No, I'm kidding.
Bandai Namco doesn't have to go far internally. I would get the Tales developers to work on it since they already do action style combat in their series.
Couldn't they get a couple developers together to work on it if they really want to put that kind of money into it? Can they get like people to focus on the visual style and the world they're building, and then some people to focus on the combat and the characters and all of that? That's the big problem, is trying to figure out who could actually make it work.
That's the problem, because like Dragon Ball Z, it's such a weird type, like how the combat works, Like it's such a weird, and like you're trying to make like an RPG and then something that's on that scale. Okay, is it gonna be like Xenoverse? It's like it seems like they've tried everything with Dragon Ball Z, and I don't know where like they turn to, because like the best selling Dragon Ball Z game is Fighters, which is just that's just a 2D fighting game. That's a really good 2D fighting game.
Yeah, but it's the closest thing to fluid combat you're ever gonna get in Dragon Ball right now.
Well, that's the thing, though. So I mean, it's like, do we like, where do you go? You know, because everyone thinks that Fighters is the best Dragon Ball Z game of all time. It's the best selling one. You know, so I wonder what they're gonna do going forward. Because like right now, like, I hate to go back to Naruto, but like they're stuck. They don't even know what the hell to do with that franchise. So you know,
it's a shame because it just like the franchise just prints money. You figure they could make it work, but it's a very safe game. I'll say that they didn't really take too many chances with it. I don't even think they did any of the movies. That was the other problem. I thought they were going to try to tap into a movie or two as like a side thing. They didn't even try that. Yeah. So, well, yeah, that's Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I'll probably do a video at some point, but I'm like 15 hours in now, so maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do that soon for my impressions on it. Welcome, a Tasty Elixir, new member.
Emotes.
Thank you for joining up. We appreciate that. Did I get everybody? I got everybody, right? Everyone talked about what they've been playing. Evan, you got a Discord question for us?
The plan for Xbox Series X and Xbox One games to be sort of cross-platformy for the first 2 years. Do you think that's related to maybe the price not being something anyone's going to want to pay right away?
I think Microsoft just wants to sell you Game Pass. I honestly I don't think they care either way if you're buying the Series X or, I mean, they're gonna introduce the Lockhart soon. I think it'd have to be an event that they might have in March, maybe.
Yep.
That's what I have to assume. I just don't think they don't want to leave behind the Xbox One crowd, which is weird because it's not even like that massive of an install base. Although I guess for Microsoft it kind of is because that would be their second largest. What do you think, Nate?
What was the question? I'm talking British music and the Beatles with the chat.
Well, you had a strong opinion last time on the Series X stuff when it came to the cross generation stuff, where all their games are gonna be cross generation.
Right.
Okay. Now,
so what was the question?
Do you think they're asked if that has anything to do with the possible price of the Series X and the, I guess, slower move over to it because it might be too expensive?
No.
Because we believe there'd be another system anyway there.
So, like, they're trying to imply Microsoft might price the Series X at a higher price point because they have Lockhart and the Xbox One to...
Well, I think the Series X will be $600 either way. The Series
not
X.
going to be $600.
You think it's going to be $500?
Yeah.
You think it's going to be the same price as the PS5?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I agree.
We'll see. We'll see, I guess, how that turns out.
I mean, like kind of said last week and even in my own video, it's Microsoft... For that first year, Microsoft does not care. What the hell was that? Microsoft doesn't care where you play the games. They just want you part of that ecosystem.
Right. They want to sell you Game Pass.
Yeah, whether you're playing on PC, Xbox One, Series X, Lockhart, your phone, and you have Game Pass with xCloud on your phone, they don't care. They just want you in that Xbox ecosystem because the Xbox is now a brand. It's no longer just the box.
Yeah, they actually figured out how to charge PC gamers for a subscription. It's actually impressive. I'm a bit surprised about that actually snuck its way onto the Windows Store and people are buying it.
I also want to say too, like with Microsoft, I think it's smart because every single time you start a new system, you're starting from ground zero, right? Like you have to rely upon only the people that are buying the new system. Well, why do that when you can still make money off of like millions of people who already have the box? So it eases the transition. You don't lose as much money. You know, when it comes down to things, you're going to get more sales. Having games available on 40 million plus Xboxes and then on top of your new system, that's a good idea starting out. I think that's a good idea. That's why people love backwards compatibility, right? So I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's because it's going to be too expensive. I think it's just like Nate was saying, you know, and to me it makes sense because there's going to be people who just can't get the new system at launch, but they might want to play the game, and if you're still going to have the game available, cool. People who want to buy the new system, that's also cool too. So it makes sense to me in terms of what Microsoft does. Absolutely makes sense.
Yeah, I think more people are happy that it's going to play the older game, or that their system now will be able to play those games, as opposed to the people who are the other way around, like me, who want them to take advantage.
I'm not happy about it.
Oh,
not-
MVG isn't. Okay. All right. See, he's on
No.
my side. Here we go. All right.
Even when the Xbox One came out, like in, was it 2013, 2014, you had
2013, yeah.
you had Rise, you had Left 4 Dead, not Left 4 Dead, was it Dead Rising 3? You had Killer Instinct, you had Forza, you know, I mean,
Sunset Overdrive.
Why can't we have
Xbox actually had a pretty good launch here now. I think
Why can't we have that this time around? You know?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll get there. It's just not going to be at launch.
Just give us like 2 games.
So then what's the point of making a new system?
Exactly right. Why is Microsoft, you know, basically saying we don't care? You know, we're happy being number 3 in the race. We don't care anymore. We just buy Game Pass. We'll be happy.
See, that's the thing that's kind of happening here is the console wars are over. They're done. We can no longer look at Microsoft's success or lack of success by measuring how many units they sold. Microsoft's success now lies with Game Pass, Xbox Live, xCloud subscriptions. And that's the path they're moving in, and that's where they're going to find their either future and success, or they're going to find their ultimate failure. They've broken through those shackles of just console gaming. They've basically have embraced a PC type of approach where the Xbox series of products are low-end PC, Series X is high-end PC, and for those first 20, 24 months, they're going to support that entire line and hopefully branch out with the Game Pass to the other devices, whether it be on Switch, PC, you know, wherever. And that's where they're going to have that large amount of revenue come in. They're no longer just confined to saying we have to sell 90 million Series X. They're going to say we have 500 million Game Pass subscribers.
Well, does that mean that Microsoft isn't really competing with Sony then anymore?
They're not. They're competing with Sony the same way Nintendo is.
So what's the point of the new system?
To sell you Game Pass and their services, and Microsoft's basically selling a Steam box at this point.
It's a little. I think the concerning part though is the future. For me anyway, looks like we may lose the competition between the companies. And
competition is good no matter what anyone says.
That's my main concern, is that we may lose the competitive drive between these companies if none of them are competing with each other.
They're competing, just not in the direct way. Like people would say, ultimately, they're all still competing.
Direct way? Direct way? You want to talk about that?
They're all competing for your time, but they're also competing against Netflix. They're competing against your phone and mobile games. That's what they're competing for, is time. The days of Nintendo versus Microsoft versus Sega, those days are gone. It's no longer these 3 companies staring at each other with their arms crossed saying we're going into the octagon and we're going to knock each other out. That's not happening anymore. Now it's who can provide the most in a efficient manner to get the most people engaged, and Microsoft is trying to do that with Game Pass and xCloud. And you even see Sony with PlayStation Now, or the rumor will eventually get to, of Sony okaying potentially Horizon to PC. Even Sony is evaluating, maybe we'll bring some of our own first-party games to the PC platform.
Dude, that's a 4-year-old game. That's not that's different. I mean, I get that. I get the the comparison, but that's an old game.
Let me go through, which actually we'll come back to that soon when we get to the Horizon Zero Dawn stuff. Let me go through some of these super chats. Start with Agent Quato saying loads of juicy gaming news this week. Also, thank you Spawn or OJ for recommending Dragon Quest XI-S, because it's been on my backlog since release. Just finished the story in 75 hours, but there's more post story. There absolutely is, by the way. When you get to the end, it's like, hey, there's a whole nother game left. So
that's insane.
Pretty ridiculous. Fire Emblem 3 Houses is next on my list. That's gonna you're gonna go through like 2 games in like 6 months.
Yeah, those are 2 giant games.
Those are long games, but hey, you know what? They're very, you feel very accomplished after you finish those games. But yeah, Dragon Quest XI-S, good game. Good game, absolutely.
Very good game.
Did you get into any of the Dragon Quest games, Alpha?
Yeah, I didn't get Dragon Quest XI-S though, because I just played the original. And I was like, I'll just pick it up at some point down the road whenever it's cheaper. Like, I know it's got a shit ton of new content, but it's kind of like, I picked up Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition, for example, and I played that to no end on the 360, and I was all psyched for it because that also has a bunch of new content in it. And then we've got Persona 5 Royal coming out, which that's also going to have not only a bunch of new content, it's going to kind of be like an entirely different game to a certain respect, which I'm excited about. But it's like, man, I want to go back to Dragon Quest just to see that, because I liked 11 a lot. Like I really didn't play one that much since 8, so it'd been like a good minute. I like 9 a lot.
The 2D mode is really cool in 11S. The going like to the 8-bit 16-bit mode or whatever, that's really cool when you do that.
It's just like I tried telling some of my friends about the game, but they were just like, I don't know, they were not into it. Like they thought Dragon Quest was just kind of boring, but they like RPGs, but they were just like, nah, man, it wasn't grabbing me. They're like, it looks nice and they think the soundtrack's good, but they're like, for some reason, shit ain't doing it for me. And I was just like, I'm all alone in my hype here. This kind of sucks. My little trifecta crew and only me on the island all alone waving the Dragon Quest flag around, but
because it's not flashy. It's not like when you see Dragon Quest, it's not like, oh my gosh, it doesn't have all these like gimmicks and like bells and whistles. It's just like a really nice like RPG, like cut and clean. Like whereas you look at like Fire Emblem Three Houses, like there's the whole gimmick with the different houses and all the different stuff that's gonna happen with it. Whereas Dragon Quest is just straightforward, but it's really good. It takes a while to get going, but I don't know. I think that's what a lot of people do see that like, oh, I mean, it looks okay, but they don't want to get into it, you know. But Dragon Quest is it's really, whether you play the original on the PlayStation 4 or you play Dragon Quest 11S, they're both really good. So
well, you can look forward to Tales of Arise soon.
Yes,
Alpha.
I'm excited for that.
That could actually be coming a bit sooner than people were thinking.
I hope so.
Oh.
What?
Oh, that could be
wait,
fun.
What? Oh.
I was like, that game could be pretty cool. I think Tales of Arise. So
I think it's gonna be good.
yeah. Let's go through some of the super chats here real quick. Xavier says, "Congrats to Player Essence."
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Wishbone says, "I fear that next gen SNK Neo Geo might be underpowered." Those fears would probably be correct. Console Gamer says, "I love every fighter they add, no matter if I know the franchise game they are from or not. Had no idea what SNK was before. Yes, I'm younger than Fringe." Adam Foster says, "Hey, I love your content, man. Also, Byleth is probably my favorite DLC so far. I get that people aren't happy, but those Twitter reactions, though." LMAO. And then Core Sonic says, "I finished the first of the Nico Para games, and I am enjoying the anime. Also, I'm reading the Interspecies Reviewer, which is a great anime so far." Did I say that wrong, Evan?
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
It's just the premise of that anime.
Okay. T-Joe says, "Even if you don't care for Byleth, at least we got to fight. We get to fight some of the Three Houses' awesome music and a Nintendo waifu as amiibo when Sakurai decides to release it." Justin says, "Alpha, my cat is doing the same thing past few years. Did you have to go to the vet or just buy some stuff? Can you tell me the name of the meds?"
The medicine's actually sitting in the next room. I ended up going to PetSmart for it though, and right beside it they had like a little veterinary area with like several people working there, and they were like, "No, just buy that." Damn, I'm actually gonna go grab the stuff because I feel bad now.
Kitty advice. I love it.
Fishfan says, RGT85 lunch meat of the week. Also, Rip Mitch.
We had a bit of both going on. We started the week out with the honey ham leftover, and then because it snowed a lot here today. Yesterday I went and got a pound of roast beef just in case I can't leave the house for a day or two.
All right.
There you go. 3 inches of snow.
Look, I don't like to drive in the snow if I don't have to.
Oh,
it's gonna rain.
It's a dusting where I am, bud.
Ultra mega hairball formula. I you know what? It might not be Raid Shadow Legends, but we can at least hawk another product on here, right? So, yeah, it's I don't know. ever since I gave that to him, he hasn't been acting up at all, which I was glad because it had me kind of scared that he'd like ate something random because I was redoing part of my house to turn into a gym. And there was stuff everywhere. I was
Like
cleaning
debris.
that area of the house like down in the basement I've never even really fucked with. And I was just like, oh my God, because he's only like 7 months old. So he's stupid. He does dumb kitten shit. So it's just like, man, I hope he didn't just like eat something random off the floor and can't pass it. But he seems to be cool now. So yeah.
And then we have Bryson says, I'm happy OJ's happy about Byleth. They look fun. And then Max says, DBZ Kakarot looks like DBZ World Mission at times. It does look pretty bad at times. I would like shockingly bad sometimes. Like they forgot that there was supposed to be a texture on the ground bad sometimes. And then other times it looks really good. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
like
a game is a little all over the place when Digital Foundry does a video on it. They did one recently on it on the game.
Oh, did they? Oh,
yeah.
I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
they tore it apart.
Oh yeah, it's so weird. Sometimes I just forgot to put grass on the ground. It's really weird. I don't know. I don't know why.
I'm glad that
is.
you mentioned the stuff about the movies because it seems like I know that they say, oh well, they're not canon, so they don't really count. I'm like, well, I mean, it's a video game. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it. And the movies, in my opinions, were a lot of times way better than the show. Like by a considerable margin, not just like the art and the music, because damn, they did a lot of the other characters who don't get a lot of love way more justice in the movies, and I just thought they were more unique. It reminded me more of like what they did with Dragon Ball, where it's more like a straight up self-contained adventure.
Yeah,
and like that's just a lot of untapped potential. And then was it Dragon Ball Fighters with a Z? They were just like, yeah, we're announcing more characters, and it's just like 50 Gokus and shit. I'm like, dude, come on, man! Like
some of those earlier movies, like World's Strongest, I like that one a lot.
World's
that was
Strongest
good.
Dead Zone is good. World's Strongest is really good.
Yep. That was more about that was more about like the choreography at the fighting and stuff that they had set up, and it was less about just blasting everyone with stuff. It was good. I like those ones a lot.
Dude, the animation in some of those movies too, like you just appreciate it so much. Like all that, like it was like pure top tier 90s hand drawn animation. Everything looked all fluid and smooth. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll come back to the super chats a little later after we get through some of the topics. We want to go over the Smash character that got unveiled, because this was this. Let me ask OJ, was this the most controversial character for Ultimate so far in terms of internet reaction?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the most controversial character, and I knew it. I was on a freaking plane, and people were looking at me all weird when I found out that Byleth. I was on a plane on the Atlantic Ocean or something. I was somewhere there, I think. I was forward in time, then I went back in time, and then I was looking at everyone's reactions, and it was I knew this was gonna cost so much salt, and I was so ready for it. I was so ready for it.
It got Hose Mad trending. It's a good thing.
Yes, it did. I loved it. It got Hose Mad trending, but this is the most controversial one. And because it's another Fire Emblem character, and everyone's saying that there's too much Fire Emblem in the game. But I love Fire Emblem, and Fire Emblem 3 Houses, the DLC's coming out. It's selling really well. You got to have the best-selling Fire Emblem. Like, you can't have the best-selling Fire Emblem game of all time, because 3 Houses is the best-selling Fire Emblem game of all time, and not have the main character from the best-selling Fire Emblem game of all time. You got to have it, and I think that's why the next Fighters Pass, I think Byleth would have been a character that was in there from the beginning. They just didn't have the time. And that's why the next Fighters Pass is 6 characters instead of 5. Because they're just like, this is supposed to be a character that was just going to be in the game. So people just need to chill. Don't worry. There's more characters coming. But they just wanted to get this in now instead of doing it later. I think you do it now, then later.
Do they have left for to come? Like, is
6.
it 5 or 6 characters?
6.
They just
but
announced
the current
6.
pass is done. Next pass is 6.
Okay. See, I was wondering about that. A lot of people I wasn't home at all. I didn't go online at all throughout all that shit. Dude, I just hopped on Twitter because I was like, man, I can fuck with my phone. And it was just like, that one scene where I forgot the fucking show, but dude with the glasses, he walks in and everything in the office is on fire and everybody's freaking out. That was the internet. Everybody's just losing their shit. I'm like, why? And I'd seen, and immediately I went, oh, Oh shit. Oh god. And I just kept Suzanne Summers, nice. But yeah, it was just, it was a mess. Everybody was like, why the fuck couldn't it be Dante? Which admittedly, if it was Dante, I'd have been geeked as fuck and just I need that in my life.
Sean told me it was gonna be Dante.
Look.
Oh
okay.
yeah.
It's just another weapon using character.
To eat more plants.
It was simply a theory. I stated that in the video. Like, here's the thing. Here's the thing about Byleth. I don't think Byleth is a bad character for the game. I think Byleth was a bad 5th and final character for the DLC 1 pack. The timing of it was kind of shitty, especially when you have characters, from series that you did not think were going to be in Smash Brothers, and then, a lot of third-party characters, and then you get yet another Fire Emblem character. My biggest problem with it was honestly the reactions of people. I talked about it in my video today. Cheap plug, go watch it after the show. But there's like this mindset that if you're happy with it, if you're not happy with it, you're a toxic person. Like, fuck off. Like, yes, there are people that go to way too big extremes, and both toxic doesn't necessarily even mean necessarily bad. There are good toxic people and there are bad toxic people that are, there's something called good toxic where you just consume everything that you're given, and like, oh, Nintendo said, oh, look how happy Sakurai is. Do you want Sakurai to be upset that you just like this video? Like, people are going to have opinions about things, and as long as they're respectful about sharing their opinions on things, that's fine. I don't think a vast majority of people were negatively overly toxic about it, but it's just as bad to go out there and bash people for being upset or disappointed, I guess would be the proper word, with that character announcement. Because me personally, I was up until like 3 a.m. the night before. I woke up at 8:30 to watch that, and I saw another Fire Emblem character, and I was like, oh, okay. And like, I couldn't even really make like one of my long videos on it. I literally just sat there for a few minutes and talked about it because it was just so meh to me personally. Now, if there are people out there that absolutely love it, great. That's awesome. But don't be upset that other people weren't as stoked as you about it.
I just go with the tried and true tactic of not giving a shit, because I was just like, okay, and I just went about my day. I didn't give a single fuck. I was like, I mean, that's cool. I suck at Smash Brothers, so I just play it like the most casually that I can. Like, I'm a fucking cloud user, so that right there should say my level of skill in Smash Brothers.
And I'm the same way. Like, I'm very casual with Smash, and I'm very casual with Pokemon. So I feel like when I see things that are happening within those communities, that's why I like to talk about it, because I'm not on one side of the fence or the other. I don't love everything about Smash Brothers. I don't love everything about Pokemon. I'm very much so in the gray area where I could take it or leave it. But I know that there are people that are so dedicated to both sides of the coin. So it's always interesting for me to sort of look at those fandoms and look at the reactions to them and see the overreactions, both the overly positive reactions and the overly negative reactions to it. And it's crazy. It's just weird to me.
Like, I get why people get mad about it, because, they're obviously like, they're fans. They're big time fans, extremely dedicated to the show. I mean, look at like the pro like Smash players that are like super into this shit, let alone just people who are into like Nintendo franchises in general. But like me, I'm just like, I know it's gonna make somebody out there happy. Like, I'm still out here waiting for like Jill Valentine to show up, or like Dante from Devil May Cry, or some shit like that. But I know that as much as I want them, ultimately, I just want Doom Guy, and now it's probably never ever going to happen, but it'd be fucking fantastic. And yes, I want him to have a chainsaw and the fucking boomstick. So
Final Smash would be the BFG, man.
Dude, BFG, that's got to be like his final shit cool that he uses. It's the only way that can happen. But I'm just like, oh man.
I mean, there's plenty of room. There's still six slots open. You get Master Chief in there, Doom Guy in there.
Dude, sometimes like I seriously think about it, I'm just like, it's not that far fetched of a concept. Like, if you can get Solid Snake into Smash Brothers, you can get Doom Guy in there. Like, come on, he's killing demons. They're not like people, right? Yeah,
I want CJ from San Andreas. Let's go. Come on.
I want another Fire Emblem character. I want Tiki. I want Tiki from Fire Fire Emblem in the game. Let's do it. I'd be so down. I would love that.
I couldn't care less about any of this Smash stuff. It is entertaining though to watch.
Well, I think the part that was the most disappointing about the Smash stuff is that the trailer was very like.
The trailer was awful.
It was basic.
I'll say it. That trailer was awful. No.
What they
it was so Three Houses.
You should. Here's your invite to Smash. It was so bad. That voice acting was awful.
I wanted to swerve. I wanted them to just drop into like
terrible.
No,
that was the worst trailer I've seen yet for imitation.
I needed to see them drop into like a Kingdom Hearts world or something, you know.
And
I thought it was swerve. I thought it was
Sora. Sora's about to get this end.
Now that we've got all the hate, and I'm not on the fence out of the way. Let me. My turn.
I haven't said anything yet.
I don't care about the character or not. I just said the trailer was awful.
Yeah,
I think the trailer fit the game. I think
because all the other trailers are fun. This trailer was like, hey, you know what?
They put all that work into it, and you guys still would have hated it. So what?
No, I don't care either way.
Let her finish. Let Click finish.
Click.
I'm finished.
Surprised
You said you slept through the thing anyways.
And here, folks, is the toxic over positivity coming.
No. Okay, listen. Here's the dude with the half-naked lady on his screen. Go fight me.
It's summer. She's very classy.
Yeah. Okay. So I overslept, and then my husband was like, yo, you just like turn your alarm clock off. So I was like, what the frick? So I literally told him, I handed him my phone. I was like, can you go on YouTube for me and pull up the direct and then leave it in my history so I can go and click on it later? He pulls it up and he goes, the name of the character is in the title. So you're going to get spoiled as soon as you go to click on it. So then that's what led to him, like me doing the whole blindfold thing. So when I watched the thing after the fact, I didn't know that in the actual live stream, that Sakurai-san like put a whole disclaimer ahead of time saying this might not be the character a lot of you want. And I had no idea until I think I watched it. I watched someone else's reaction to it and they were watching the live stream. So the fact that he already knew it was coming, you know, in a way, it made it seem like he was put in between a rock and a hard place. And HMK was in my stream earlier and we were talking, and I agree. I think it's a bad timing thing to have it as the final part of the DLC. I think the kit looks great for the character. I think the character is a great character to a great game, but I can understand why there would be all this hype, especially after them not being at the Game Awards. I can see why people get upset. I think it's very valid. Now, do I feel like people should just say Sakurai should just like stop working and I'm not going to buy the future DLC? Like, that's fine. Like, you're technically paying for a grab bag. Like, if you're upset that this is what you got in the grab bag, like, I understand. But I mean, if
they're gonna buy that pass. Right.
Yeah, they probably are. Like,
I mean,
at this point, like, you should just buy them a la carte, you know? So I think it goes both ways. Like, I understand why people are upset, but at the same time, again, it just comes down to how you react to it and how you respond, because there have been a lot of disrespectful people, and I am the first person to say, you can have your opinion, whether or not I agree with it. That's the whole beauty of having opinions. But at the same time, like, just like, don't be a dick about it, okay? I'm sorry, just don't. And like,
language, good lord.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I think the kit looks great. I think the weapon and the fact that you can use the relics is awesome. But again, it really is on timing. It really is on timing.
I think they kind of had to get it out. If he was going to be in the game, they kind of had to get it out now, right? The DLC is coming out. If you make Byleth as a character in the next one, then at some point the disappointment's going to come. Right. So like, when do you do it?
When did Terry come out again? If they had flip flopped it, if they'd made Terry last, would that have been too soon? After
people were pissed about. People were pissed about Terry. People asked her about Terry.
Hold up. I will fight motherfuckers being mad about Terry. Like,
people were asking about Terry.
Fatal Fury and King of Fighters basically my whole life. When I had seen people say, is that motherfucker like another Pokemon trainer? I was like, oh, how dare you? How dare they're mainly Pokemon, you motherfuckers. No.
Couldn't they have used Byleth for like how they saved, like how they had Hero, and then after Hero, that like immediately they had another character. What was it, Banjo? In the same direct? Am I thinking right?
That was E3. I think,
but couldn't they just save Byleth for like the opening to a direct, and then had like Sora at the end of the direct, or Doom Guy or something?
No, because then we would have been waiting for this character until probably April or May. Because then we're looking into the first character of the next pass. So I mean, that's just a whole issue of different problems when it comes to Nintendo DLC rollout.
They could have been like, in honor of it, we're going to do a special release character that's not part of the past, and then we should do something like that.
What people have to remember is Smash Brothers it's a fighting game, which is kind of based on the idea of it's Nintendo marketing franchises to people. Mm-hmm. They also market third-party characters. Mm-hmm. Look when Hero came out. Right when Dragon Quest XI dropped on the Switch. They put Joker first because they wanted that big announcement at the Game Awards. You're having Persona 5 Scramble come out in a few months for the Switch. Banjo was really just kind of a, hey, Nintendo and Microsoft are cooperating. Terry is a historic character of value. Look what happened with Byleth. Nintendo announced an hour after that Smash Direct, or whatever you want to call it, new DLC. Mm-hmm. So the timing is just advertising Fire Emblem Three Houses DLC. And that's what we have to remember is ultimately the game is fan service for Nintendo to market a product beyond Smash Brothers. The optics were poor for this character. He concluded the first DLC pack. The character fell very flat. If it came out at a different time, like if he was the first character of pack 2, probably would have been a little more well received. But it wasn't the right time for that character to be introduced.
Well,
fans' expectations.
Nintendo very well could have been like, hey, DLC's scheduled for this date. You need to have this come out for the DLC to kind of promote it. You know what I mean? So again, It probably sounds like he was like, you got to do this.
Yeah, and that's where
I think he
next
made it
year,
as interesting as he could.
Yeah.
Next year we have 6 more fighters coming out that's going to span 2020 and 2021. Do people really think Nintendo's not going to throw a Breath of the Wild character into one of these years? Because when they're going to advertise Breath of the Wild 2, or they're not going to throw in, any character in their history if they have a game coming out in that respective franchise? Of course they are. I can't believe we didn't get a champion in the first pack of DLC.
Right, yeah.
Because that just would have made some sense. And those 6 characters, they're going to be marketing a game Nintendo has coming out in either 2020 or 2021, whether it's another Metroid character or whatever they have planned. Who knows? It could be, if they have a new Pikmin game, maybe they'll have another Pikmin character. They're going to advertise the games they have. And whether it's a third-party exclusive or just a third-party, we could still have Doomslayer. We could still have... just a random third-party character come in those 6. It's going to be whatever has the most impact. Mm-hmm. And right now, Fire Emblem Three Houses is a very important game to Nintendo, and they wanted to market it.
But 2 of the 5 characters in the first DLC pack had nothing to do with what Nintendo had going on, or any third-party companies had going on.
No, Terry was a historic figure. It's something that Sakurai said, I love this franchise, I love this character, I love that company. That was like his passion project of a character.
But wait a minute, there's a bunch of Fatal Fury games on the Switch, like
there are a ton of eShop.
There's a ton
but they're
it's not a new one. Like if they had a Sam Show character come out as the DLC, it would have said it was like, oh, because Sam Show's coming to Switch at the end of the year.
Sakurai would talk about how he used to play Fatal Fury back in the day and body people in the arcade. So I think that was definitely a passion project for him to get that.
Also, isn't that that's really popular in South America, right?
Very, very popular. Yeah,
that would make sense. But Nintendo's the one who Sakurai said multiple times that Nintendo picked the characters.
He already picked They already picked all the ones for the next pass too. They're already done.
Yes. That's why he said Twitter's not gonna you can't just keep requesting them on Twitter. It's set.
So you can say it's a passion project for him, and I guess it is. But Nintendo picked all these characters for this. So
remember they did a popularity poll way back on the Wii U, and a lot of those characters have become DLC.
Yes.
Oh, nice. Oh, wait, no, the most recent one. Never mind.
They're not going to get Goku.
No, I don't care. No, dude, Lloyd was number 1. Let's go.
But see, I don't know if he's not really historical. And if they don't have a Tales of game coming to the Switch, he doesn't really even have a marketable aspect to himself.
Maybe, say he's more popular than Byleth.
Maybe actually, I don't know. I was gonna say I actually think I think Byleth. I think more people know Byleth than Lloyd. I think I said Lloyd and people were like, oh yeah, Lloyd.
We're talking about the R&B singer, right?
What?
The R&B singer.
Yeah. What if Tales of Arise ends up getting a late port to the Switch, and to make up for it, they add Lloyd as a character to throw in there, and then Lloyd makes his way to Smash. Boom.
Meanwhile, poor Golden Sun.
I know. Poor.
Golden Sun. What's that? What's Golden Sun?
What is Golden
What are
Sun?
we talking about?
That's that game that's that thing that Spawn Wave leaked on Twitter and got everyone.
Oh yeah,
excited.
that's right.
A new one was coming.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Well, it's better. It's better than a AAA Knights game, that's for sure.
Oh,
Okay. Moving on.
oh man. E3 2020. Sony's not going to be there.
Shocking.
Shocking, I know. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I know. And, Sean had to eat a plant because of because yeah, it was so shocking.
I got to say, I was a little surprised. I didn't have the inside info that Nate did, so I didn't know. But
I never said that.
But,
You, as soon as the stream laughed, you
It
started
was.
laughing.
They never talked about it. It was obvious they weren't going to show up.
Oh my gosh.
last year, the message was, look, we don't really have anything to show, so we're not going to turn up, and that made a lot of sense because they were they'd already shown off everything that they were going to bring out. But this year, I was a little surprised that they said no, and I think the message is very loud and clear that they don't see E3 as something that is within their interest, and I would say that this is probably the last time they're going to show up to E3. Well, 2 years ago was the last time. I don't think they're going to come back.
They're not coming back.
Unless something significantly changes with E3 in the format, I don't think that they'll ever come back to E3.
They took a shot at the ESA a bit there.
Yep.
Because E3 as we know it, and I know people are going to start typing at their keyboard saying, you're wrong, Nate. E3 as we know it, or as we have known it, is dead.
Mm-hmm.
E3 of what we hailed as the Christmas of gaming, this holy event, is finished. It's no longer going to be that. And if you compare the attendance rates of other gaming expos around the world, E3 is at the bottom. The Tokyo
Gamescom
Game Show
crushes it.
does 250,000 people. Gamescom does almost 300,000 people. E3 does 65,000 people.
Yeah,
So when I say E3 is dead as we know it, what that means is, and we've seen it from the ESA, they want to focus on public attendance so they can so they can get those numbers up. But E3 has never been about public attendance.
No.
It's a professional.
It was supposed to be a
expo.
trade show.
Yeah.
What were
Yes.
you trying to say, Alpha?
I was just saying, when I got to see the numbers for E3 throughout, there was like a full decade where their numbers were absolute trash, and that was during the time that they were only letting like industry insiders in to check everything out, and then you had third parties, first parties who were just kind of bailing on the show. They're like, no, we're good. And then you have somebody as big as Sony who's just like, no, we're going to do our own thing, our own Nintendo Direct-esque show, and we'll completely control that. And I mean, that I don't know where they really go from here. Like, if companies keep on deciding like, oh yeah, we're just not going to do it, what do you do then? I mean, Microsoft apparently, like, their stuff is completely across the street from where they usually hold us.
Yeah, I mean, when they say that when they come out and announce we're going to be at E3, they're going to be, what they're saying is we're going to be across the street at our theater hosting our own event, so everyone should come and attend. But they're not technically at E3. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really make much difference to Microsoft.
Strangely, Nintendo's the only one at E3 then this year, technically inside the Convention Center.
Well, no. I mean, Microsoft still has their booth. They still have their demo stations. Nintendo still has their demo station, just like EA. Sony will have no presence there whatsoever. No company actually has a conference at E3. It's all
Nintendo has
anything open.
They have the treehouse in there.
Yeah, but I mean that's part of their booth. It's not like you can. They live stream it.
They're not taking stage time though.
So
no, but if you look at the map and everything they'll probably lay out, it'll be like Nintendo with a massive amont of square footage, and Microsoft.
But that's where E3 is basically becoming.
Yeah.
They're gradually transitioning towards the Tokyo Game Show, a Gamescom, or even a PAX, where it's just, we're going to have our booth, we're going to have demo stations, we're going to open this up to a public, you can come in. And you're if you're going to make those big announcements, you're really better off what Sony and Nintendo have even done on their own with the Directs is, we're going to host our own presentations, we're going to control the flow of information. If we want to host an event where you can play the demos for the media, we're going to do it on our own terms, because if E3 is just going to become a public convention, then that's not the E3 everyone has looked forward to. You're going to get those big announcements, at other venues.
What were you saying, MVG?
I was just going to say that everything that Microsoft did last year, because I was there last year, was in their theater. Even the booths and the setup to play the games, everything was in their theater. They didn't have any presence at the convention center at all. So just keep that in mind.
Hmm.
Yep.
I mean,
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they basically,
So Microsoft's basically not even really at
no
E3 technically.
No, they're
Wow.
not.
Oh, there you go. So I guess it's like out of the three, it's Nintendo that's left at E3 then in the actual convention center. And the mixer booth.
Yeah,
Will Ninja be there?
Oh my god.
probably.
Yes.
They're gonna pull some people in there this year.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah,
here's my
Ninja and
question:
Shroud will
how
hang out there.
long until Nintendo is just like, we're not going either?
Right now, for them, just to throw the booth, get some public discussion about their product, it's probably still in their interests. But what people don't know is Nintendo in July and August, they invite media to an event on the West Coast and the East Coast where they show all of their E3 content. And this is a way for the media to get it who didn't attend E3, get their time to have hands-on, write up the previews and everything. So E3, even in Nintendo's eyes, a little bit it's losing focus. But if ESA does fully shift to a public domain where they're going to have 100,000 just public attendees start to, maybe you see Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony put up some demo booths just for that purpose. But there's so much competition between Tokyo Game Show, Gamescom, the PAX conventions. E3 just kind of seems like it's out.
How much does E3 cost Nintendo, you think?
For their booth, it's a lot.
Like just their overall trip.
Their overall trip is probably in the range of $100 million.
I just found our Golden Sun budget. All right. So we're going to stay away from E3. All right. And we're going to make Golden Sun and
I
probably
feel like
something
they could
else.
take half of it and
Nintendo
just
has-
do their own event and just call it.
Right. Yeah, if they wanted to. I mean, in reality, how does if they want to stay relevant, where do they go from here without becoming like everybody else? You know what I mean?
They
Then they
become
can.
like everybody else.
Is that the only way?
They have to
Yes.
become everyone else.
If you can't
Yeah,
beat
I
them,
think
join
so.
them.
They have to become the Tokyo Game Show or Gamescom.
Will people
They-
still go though? I mean, technically,
Yes.
don't people at this
Public
point
will
have like?
attend.
They gotta move it too. They can't have it where like they're in like with the convention center in with the LA.
Yeah.
LAX or something. They got to move that thing to like, I don't know, a bigger like Las Vegas or something. They got to go somewhere like bigger if they're going to do that.
They have to change several things. If they want to go public and they still want media to attend, you have to have a day or two
Before.
just committed to just
Mhm.
media.
Mm.
You
That's a good
cannot
point.
have 100,000 public walking the show floor while you have 30,000 media trying to get coverage.
Yeah, some
Can't
conventions
get
usually
Shank.
do Thursday and half of Friday tends to be
Right.
the media. thing.
Right. So E3 would have to do that. Or if they want to offset some of these costs where all these companies are putting in millions and millions of dollars for a booth and everything else, they might have to charge media for their pass. No longer do the media get a free entry. You might have to spend $50 or $100 for access.
Yeah, I think that I mean, if it's worth it for what you get out of it for press and coverage, yeah.
And some people in this thing are saying, oh, no way, $100 million. Okay, I had a friend who worked in marketing who was for a small indie, and all they did was park a truck in front of the E3 convention center, and it cost them upwards of $1 million to park a van for a day. So for 4 days, it cost them almost $5 million to park a truck. You don't think Nintendo's getting a friggin' quarter of an acre of land for $10 million, for less than $100 million? You're out of your mind. And they have to pay staff. They have to ship things. It's not like you just walk in and say, oh, here's $25 million. They got about 400 employees working it. They send in employees from Seattle. Yeah, kind of right. It starts to build up.
Yeah, just set that Golden Sun budget over there. We'll put the other 3 budget over here. It's cool. It's cool. E3 is gonna be interesting.
It's gonna suck, John. Just say what you feel. Just say what you want to say.
I was gonna go, and now I'm like,
joking.
Yeah, I
why
saw
do
your tweet.
Why do I go? Like, what? I
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna go there. I'll see the new Xbox. I'll see the new PlayStation, and I'll see probably some cool games for Nintendo that they'll unveil and probably have playable. Maybe Breath of the Wild 2. Now it's like Sony's not even going, and it just doesn't feel like there's a point in going there now.
So what do? They have a new system coming out. What do they do to generate in their own way besides just a direct?
They'll probably
State of Play.
They put like a logo out and it broke the record on Instagram or something. They'll probably do their own event, like big event, and then they'll probably do a bunch of small events. Like when Nintendo was launching the Switch, I remember they went around like the US and did like a bunch of like, they were like, basically they showed the Switch off and let you play it. I remember I went to the one in Washington DC, and they just had the public come in, everyone got tickets, and you went into like this room that was like, it was pretty big, but they basically had like techno music playing, and you walked around and you just played games. And that probably, if they did that, apparently if they did that 100 times throughout the year leading up to it, they would spend the same amount of money.
Agree. I mean, I think February next month they'll announce, they'll have their keynote thing, and then I think the PAX conventions like Comic-Con San Diego, just kind of all the big kind of conventions that come up throughout the year, they'll have an attendance there, and they'll show off the hardware.
That's kind of what they said. They said we're going to focus on a bunch of like smaller events throughout the year leading up to the PS5. And I mean, at this day and age with social media and the internet, you probably don't need to go to E3 anymore. But it's gonna be interesting. E3 will be something this year.
We need them to bring back Space World.
Oh yeah,
just go all in and just say fuck it, no more Nintendo Directs. We're just doing Space World again.
Man,
nah, screw it. Do both. Yeah.
So we also had. We're gonna go over this topic, then we'll go over to some of the super chats. We had. This was the week of delays. Did anyone notice this? Everything got delayed.
It's true.
Alpha, how you feel about that Final Fantasy VII delay?
I mean, I was making jokes because I was like, man, everybody's hammering this shit out of Square Enix like nobody's business, and it was a couple weeks, and CD Projekt Red was like, yeah, our shit ain't coming out until September. They're like, oh, bless your heart, oh, you lovely soul, take your time. I was like, god damn, people, what the fuck? I was like, look, a couple weeks, I'll wait a couple weeks so long as the game comes out that I've been waiting like a billion years for.
Yeah.
So long as it comes out to be as amazing as I want it to be on day one, that's all I want. I waited this long. Everybody's waited this long. That's fine. Take your time, because a bad game is always going to be a bad game. Doesn't matter how many times you patch it. That shit's like, it's the first impression. You'll never get over it.
They delayed it from March 3rd to April 10th. And then Avengers got delayed, which you know what? I got to admit, no one really cares.
It's
Dude,
true.
I legitimately feel bad for Avengers, because I've watched footage of that a couple times, and there's part of me I'm like, well, that doesn't look so bad, and then the other times I'm like,
Is it the thing where all the actors for it walked out and they were all like, yeah, we're excited we were used in this game, and you're just like, you shouldn't
They're
be.
on the couch, yeah.
You shouldn't be.
That's tough, though.
But wait, come on. They put their heart and soul into that Avengers game. You need to respect that Avengers game. I'm sure it's going to be a great game. And if you're negative about it, then you're a toxic individual. That's the mindset that people are going to start creating, by the way.
Annoying. No, I think most people, like, you got to give them credit, though. Like, it sucks. This is like a, what would you call a franchise? It's been established at this point. Like, you kind of associate this era of actors with certain heroes, and the fact that you have voice actors that some of us love, but it's like, this is weird. Like, you have been told Black Widow is this person for how long at this point? Like 12 years or something. This person's Captain America, this person's Thor, and it's hard. Like, they've milked the Marvel and DC, in my opinion, for so long at this point that I just feel like people are kind of ready for something new. So it just keeps getting pushed back, and I feel like people are just kind of like, all right, just, it's kind of played out for us,
I think that there's a lot of people who they only know the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right.
To them, comics. They're just like, well, that is Marvel Comics.
Exactly.
So you need to translate the likeness of those characters over to this, as if like the comics themselves, they've never existed.
Yeah.
Like, the comics aren't there, doesn't matter, fuck all that. The animated shit, that doesn't exist either. And I mean, I know like a lot of people are dogging the shit out of Captain America, which, I mean, he did look goofy. When he puts on the helmet, he looks fine, and he looks like Captain America, but it's like they're walking this fine line of looking like the Marvel movies, but looking like the like I don't know. I guess like the extras or like the stunt versions.
The characters look like the stunt
Yeah,
doubles.
it was
out
people-
to start.
People were saying they're the
Put it.
stunt doubles.
Oh god.
That's its biggest
Aw.
problem is they didn't do enough to. I'd rather the characters look nothing like the characters than kind of like it, but just a little off.
And
Because
they're
you look at
attempting
Black
to-
Widow and you're like, that's
Yeah.
Not
See, that's what I
Scarlet.
was. I was in
it's like Scarlet, but not Scarlet. Especially because she has like a movie, like she's still relevant, like her character's
Right.
still around. It's hard to do that. So if they completely either had a new roster of Avengers characters or literally just changed up some more features about them, that'd be fine. Then we wouldn't have this situation. But the fact that it's such in that uncanny valley of it kind of is but isn't, that's the problem that people are having. That's the problem when you look at it. You're like, it's so close that it hurts to look at.
But you see, the weird thing is, you look at some of the characters in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, they looked better than the
But that's also a completely different.
It's a
but that's also a
stylization
different
thing.
art style.
Like
yeah.
it's a straight stylization.
Like I'd rather the Avengers game, like honestly, at this point, not be a realistic look because they're going for that realistic look, and then that's where they're falling in, like how to design these characters. They're clearly modeled after the MCU with tweaks to them. So
You would think most comic book games they would get away with doing like cell shaded looks or something cool like that,
Right?
rather than trying
they
to.
have.
That's like the time you can do it. And you can be like, it's based on the comics. I don't tell you.
Yeah, but I feel like at the
You
meeting
could
for
write out
this,
sound effects and it would work.
I feel like at the meeting for this, they were
Kapow.
definitely like, let's get on the back of the movies. Like that was definitely their focus.
Real
going
quick,
into it.
welcome to James Lale, new member. Thanks for joining up. Alpha, what were you trying to get over?
Oh, I was just gonna say, look at Spider-Man. Like that's probably one of the best examples.
Yeah.
Of not only like a AAA title that's a licensed game and is based off of comic books, but it's a great example of something that it's not mirroring the movies at all, which obviously a lot of people are super familiar with all the movies that have come out, but they weren't expecting, like when you see it, it's obviously like its own thing.
Yeah.
And people were still really into it. Nobody was freaking out that it didn't look like one of the actors inside of it, or it didn't sound like so and so. It was just an extremely good game, except for the part where everybody was really mad about puddles for like a week and a half. That shit was out of control. For a while.
Spider-Man 2 on the PS5 is going to look nuts.
It's
It's
exciting.
going to be crazy. Welcome to Shane Leslie, there, new member. Thanks for joining us.
I was hoping that they would back to Final Fantasy. I was hoping that they would drop the demo as our apologies for the delay. By the way,
I've heard that.
here's
I've
the
heard
demo.
that demo is pretty cool. So here's hoping it's released soonish.
Yeah, maybe like
nice.
12 days or
Delay the
something.
demo
What do you
release
mean?
now,
You
Andrew?
gotta jailbreak?
Wait, did you say they delayed the demo
Do you
release?
think they will? Or do you think
Um,
they might still, if the plan is to do like the anniversary of the original game's launch at the end of the month, you think they stick to that, or do they delay it a couple of more weeks just to keep it closer to the actual launch day?
It's a game that's gonna sell.
It's a good question, man. I don't really know what the play is for them right now. I mean, I think we said last week maybe we think the 30th is when they're going to drop the demo. They could go either way with the demo, So I would say they're probably just going to hold with what they have, but I mean, they could easily,
I'm ready for that
tweak it.
demo, man. I'm ready. I've heard it's pretty good.
Me too.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to check that out. Hopefully, it is a
raid.
And then we also had Cyberpunk. Oh, the Iron Man.
Iron Man
game.
VR. Put some respect on it. Delayed. Everyone loves
Okay.
VR. Look how successful it is.
Yeah, let's skip over that delay.
Cyberpunk 27. That might have been the big delay. Was Cyberpunk 2077?
That's a
I knew it was going to happen.
That's a significant delay. 5
That
months.
is September 17th. That is
And then
quite the delay.
CD Projekt Red coming out and saying we have to crunch really hard to make that date.
That's
like-
Yeah, that's
that
not
seems
good. That's
crazy.
not good publicity.
That's
Dude,
crazy. to me.
That broke my heart to hear, because that's a massive team. Like, we're not talking about like a meager small team. They're huge.
Yeah.
And the idea that, like, they were talking about that, they were talking about the multiplayer that's planned. even though it's not going to be coming out for a while. But you know damn well they're working on it right now, plus whatever expansions that they're going to be working on. But I'm like, damn, how did you delay it all the way till September? But you've got them working like triple and quadruple overtime.
All I've heard the last literal 6 to 8 months about the game behind the scenes is that it's been almost a nearly impossible task of what they're trying to do. Basically, everything that they've shown off is not 100% what the game is at all. They've created something beautiful with this city, and they've shown it off as this is what it's going to be. And then the whole time they've been, hey, we need to actually make this a thing that can work and do everything that we've shown off or promise. The ideas that they've shown has just been like, here, we want to do this. And now they're at the point where it's, okay, we have so much still to do. I thought another delay was inevitable. I didn't think that when I'm hearing stuff in October that this game is having massive problems even getting some of the functions down in just basic areas, this game's not meeting its April release date. I half expect it to be delayed until early next year.
Well, the running story for years was that they would keep coming up with ideas, then they would spend like the year trying to make it work, and then it wouldn't work at all, and they would just have to axe the whole thing and then try something else. Like, it was a very rough time for them, according to a lot of people.
It's an ambitious project, and that's one of my most excited games. Like, I love Blade Runner. I love this kind of like futuristic aesthetic that they're going for. I'm very excited for this game. So I'd rather this game keep getting delayed until we get to a point where it is what they want it to be at that promise and that vision that they first off showed.
But to play somewhat devil's advocate here, at what point in time do game developers realize that maybe they're making these release dates too soon? I mean, this isn't an isolated incident. Final Fantasy VII, The Last of Us 2, Doom, Cyberpunk. Like, it's getting
investors and shareholders.
You have to be honest. Is that so? You play the short-term game to try to make your investors happy?
Yes.
They're that fickle.
Anyways,
that's how it goes. That's business.
But you're gonna get that dip anyways, and I'm sure the investors are very pissed off right now by things like that. I think video game companies need to start, respecting these dates more, or just give windows.
They used to. The main company that did that all the time was Blizzard. They would just say, "Yeah, we're working on it," and then people would be like, "When?" We'll tell you, shut up. And then that was kind of how they ran forever until Activision snatched them up. Yes. And now they're beholden to those people, because before they had so much money that they could just buy their own island and not give a crap about anyone else. But now they're part of things.
I think something that kind of sucks is it's not really the developers all the time that are just like, hey, it'll be finished at this point in time. It's a publisher handing down marching orders saying you've got to have it done by this date.
Yeah,
we've got investors to go to appease. We've already chalked up like the best outline for a release window for it, and right now it's like if they keep pushing it back, then you're releasing software that's technically going to be going up against hardware, and that's a slippery slope, because a lot of people are going to be wanting to buy the new systems, and it doesn't matter if it's backwards compatible and shit. People have to go and decide where they're going to spend their money, and CD Projekt Red has like an extremely good track record, so they know that they're in no position to fuck it up, and especially since they're riding high right now, like with the Witcher TV show, with the game now just getting even more sales than ever, the Witcher card game online. There's that other one I always forget the name of. Gwen. But it's like they can't take chances, and it is stressful. You're basically pushing the envelope of what is possible this generation with a game that technically should probably be a launch game for next generation.
Yeah, I'm gonna be curious to see that thing running on the base Xbox One.
How big of a game do you think this is gonna be?
That's what a lot of people I've talked to have questioned whether or not we're seeing the whole map, or if we're just seeing small sections, and the game actually only takes place in small sections of like a really nice backdrop. So there's a little bit of a worry there.
They talked about it not being nearly as big as in not even just like sheer scope, but also length as something like The Witcher, because that's what a lot of people are kind of using as the measuring stick in terms of like expectancy. But to me, I would guarantee that this is probably going to end up maxing out the disc easily, even like a dual layer, and they're probably going to end up having like a mandatory download.
Well, even FF7's coming with 2 discs.
Yeah, I honestly think that's marketing. I was talking to my friends about that. No shit, and this will sound goofy, But the fact that Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9, they came out on multiple discs, and now you're bringing back this game. And how often can you tell people, oh, yeah, we're bringing out a game on 2 Blu-ray discs? You never see it.
Well, we had a Red Dead Redemption 2 was. That was on 2 Blu-rays. So I don't know if it's just I don't know if just games are just getting to the point where they need 100 gigabytes in space on the disc. Although apparently next generation, the file sizes are supposed to come down actually, which is interesting, or come down to the quality, like depending on what they do. But Nate, what were you trying to say? You're trying to get in there.
Yeah, to like Sean's point, where we do see a lot of companies, be it Sony, Microsoft, where you announce a game 2 to 3 years in advance, and it's strictly for hype. It's to sell those consoles, get that excitement going, and then you have Nintendo who will sit there and say, "Oh, we're not even gonna talk about." I'll say Animal Crossing. Yes, it got delayed, but Nintendo sat on Animal Crossing for as long as they could until they finally announced it, and they gave it a date.
And then I got
so you basically have. You have the company who can either come out and show you a logo like Metroid Prime 4 years in advance and you never see it again, but it gets you excited and you're going to invest in that hardware, or you do what Nintendo typically does of, we'll announce the game 6 months before it comes out.
But it's okay because they didn't tell me when Metroid Prime 4 was coming out.
Right.
So I'm not disappointed.
Or
I mean, that's you not disappointed, but there are lots of people like, when are we getting it? And it's part of the back of their mind is just being annoyed that
those are overly negative, toxic people.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like Final Fantasy 7, they showed us back. Was that 2015?
Yes,
E3 2015. Yeah, the crowd was freaking out.
But see, like that's the thing. Like they showed it back then, it got everyone excited, and 3 years later, we're still waiting for the game.
I mean, how long did they show Breath of the Wild?
That was Nintendo being drunk and just not knowing what the hell. They're like, we have a new Zelda.
Was it 2014?
It was a while. I remember that. Like,
it was like 3 years.
I think it was the Game Awards. Was it the first time that we saw it, or was it at E3? It was E3 20 or the Game Awards, one of those two.
I think it was E3
saw that like
showed that first trailer.
Yeah,
he's getting chased by the Guardian.
Yeah, E3.
He jumps off the horse with the cloak. Yeah.
But like the Switch
then
put a whole.
Then we saw them play it at the Game Awards.
Like, because like the Switch was coming, so they knew that they had to.
Everything moved to developing for the Switch, basically.
Yeah, because you didn't want to have the same situation like with Skyward Sword. Like they didn't wait for that game; they just released it, which they kind of had to with Skyward Sword. But then, like when the Wii U came out, there was like
I thought you meant the motion control.
But
game's great.
Oh man. Let's move over to some of the super chats before we finish up with Horizon Zero Dawn. Evan, we have a Discord question.
Got about 6 left of them, yeah.
Okay, we can go through them then.
Just hopefully a quick one. Anyone here if Dr. Kawashima's brain training's coming to America yet?
I'm surprised that it didn't. Some release dates had it the same release date as Europe because I included it in my Switch video for the month of January, and then it didn't come out. And I don't know. It's really strange because it is out in European regions. So you really want it, I guess.
Everybody.
Huh?
You misled everyone with your January games, you bastard.
That was negative toxicity.
Look at Nintendo delaying a Brain Age game.
Who cares? I mean, really.
We have another Discord question. Evan.
Have we heard any more about the 1 terabyte SanDisks catching on fire in Nintendo Switches?
I haven't heard anything with that. I think that might have been an isolated case, but as far as I know, Nintendo reached out to them to check into it.
Dude, I'm just getting visuals of somebody sitting there playing and their shit catches on
apparently
fire.
they popped it in and it burned like a hole in the back of their
There's a lot of people's recently with their Switch getting smoke stuck in it, ruining the fan. So
we have no update on that. I think that might have just been an isolated case. We have another Discord question, Evan.
Got a tinfoil hat question. Do you think Nintendo didn't give enough money to Keeley to get more games into the earbuds?
Oh man!
Yes.
Who was that? Who said yes? Who was that?
Who do you think?
Is that Sean?
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Well, Nintendo didn't really announce anything, so I assume they didn't give him any money.
Saving that money for E3.
Oh gosh. No, it's just it was Sekiro's night. There you go. We have another Discord question.
With
Evan?
the new consoles, other than the fast load times that I'm guessing the RTX stuff, any other features we're looking at for maybe something they could pull off?
With those, well, there's talk of PlayStation having a PlayStation Assistant with a microphone in the controller. It'll be interesting to see how that goes over with people. Apparently, there's some interesting stuff with the PlayStation 5 that we do not know about yet. And I've been trying to think about what they could do, and it's very difficult because they talked about adaptive triggers, the tension will change. I didn't even think of that. So, what do you got, MVG?
I was going to say, what do you know about the PlayStation 5?
A microphone and a controller. Man, I'm telling you, the PS5, something weird is going on with that PS5. I'm telling you, something's going on over there. I don't know what it is.
What, those fake renders from 4chan? Is that what you're?
Oh, no,
those literal Xbox PS5.
Those look terrible. No, something feature wise is going on with Sony, and I don't know what it is. They're doing something. I don't think it's backwards compatibility either. I don't think it's like PS3 backwards compatibility. Something else is going on over there. So I'm really interested in this reveal event though, because I don't necessarily know if they're going to show up with just a powerful box with ray tracing and all of that and games. I think there's something else to the PS5. So
I honestly want it to be called the powerful box now. Like fuck all the PlayStation 5 stuff. Just call it powerful box. I'll buy several of them.
God.
Because it's going to be weaker, but it's still going to be 500. Why?
Why not?
It's not going to be significantly weaker. It's none of this 9 teraflop bullshit.
No, I didn't say that much, but like if it's like
we're looking at less than like a 10 to 15% difference. So they're going to be in the exact same ballpark. Just one has home run power and the other one's warning track power. So there's not going to be $100 gap difference because of that.
But why don't they just do the same in terms of power? What are they putting the money into otherwise?
It's Sony. They always cheap out on something, like the friggin' DualShock 4 Analog 6 melted. They cheap out on something in some way.
What was that?
How are they melting?
Have your analog sticks just fall apart for no reason whatsoever.
Like the rubber coating that's on the analog sticks just deteriorates. It just dies for no good reason.
Telling you, I think
y'all need to wash your damn greasy hands.
I think
all that Cheeto dust.
Yeah, all that Cheeto dust. God damn.
I think they're gonna have something interesting to show with the PS5. That's all.
I hope that they just don't decide to bust out a bunch of dumbass gimmicks. I don't need a motherfucking touchpad on my controller. There's rumors that, they're going to put a screen on there. I don't need one. Like, give me a pocket station if you're going to do some shit like that. I'll just buy it separately.
Yeah, we about to hook up battery banks to our controllers now. It's crazy.
Like, apparently they're talking about having like multiple different like little paddles on the back. I'm like, okay, whatever, that's cool, but just don't put a bunch of stupid ass gimmicks in it. Just give me a system. Give me Legend of Dragoon. Shut the fuck up. Make me happy.
Nah, man, Blue Point's doing Ape Escape. Come on.
Damn right they are.
Oh man, that would annoy so many people. No, they're probably just
happy.
They're probably just doing Demon Souls.
Escape's coming.
But if it's Ape Escape, you know where you heard it. The Shadow of Nexus says, "Thanks for recommending Daredevil Spawn. I loved it. I assume you're talking about the
movie with Ben Affleck."
Yep,
it had to be the Affleck movie.
The Netflix show is my favorite, dude.
Yep.
No, it's all about the Affleck movie.
Tasty Elixir says, "Spawncast thoughts on the MK11 Joker trailer?"
No.
Did you guys check that out?
Not really.
I've seen it.
I liked it. You know what? I thought it was pretty good. He does the thing where he gives him the cake and it's supposed to be like a friendship thing and it blows up and he shoots him with a machine gun and all that. They made Joker, I think, more fun than some of the other characters because he does some really weird moves.
Not a fan of the design.
You don't like the design at all?
His character design looks like fucking hot garbage.
At least I'm not alone on that.
I was more thinking of the move set, but
I mean, the Joker he's been fun to play as ever since like they did DC versus Mortal Kombat, and like it's pretty much stayed true since then. It's just for whatever reason, like this is their second design of him because they took into consideration everybody's feedback, which was extremely negative. or as Sean points out, it's been very toxic. But
Toxic.
Like in general, I saw him and I'm just like, damn, dude, you look terrible. You look like you park cars on the weekend to afford a pass to the convention. I just don't get it. Like,
I like the move set looked pretty cool. Some of the stuff he was doing. That was
poor
neat.
hairline.
But anytime they do anything with the Joker, man, it's always like so controversial half the time when they do anything with Joker.
I thought it looked okay. It seemed like it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The move, I think the moves that they put in were pretty fun.
Oh my god, I was just watching it. He walks up with like a music box or something, or a jack in the box, and it blows up.
He has the Batman with the machine gun in his mouth, the Batman doll. Yeah, some of those are fun. There's some fun details in there.
Fun.
Eric says, happy Saturday, everyone. Witcher 3 on Switch is great. Have it on PS4, but never played it. Brian says, consoles typically don't have stellar launches. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Wait,
now.
what?
PlayStation had Ridge Racer. Nintendo 64 had Mario 64.
Nintendo 64 launched with 2 games.
Xbox had Halo.
PS2 had Summoner.
Wait a
Let's
minute,
go.
MVG. All those games.
Ever is Dreamcast.
That all sounds like a Digital Foundry introductory paragraph to me. I think you've been reading them.
I actually agree with John Lindeman's tweet about that. I missed the.
He did miss Breath of the Wild as a recent example of that, though.
He did. But I guess that was on the Wii U, so maybe he intentionally left that one out.
How can you knock the Switch? It had 1-2 switch.
Yeah. Don't you have it sealed like everyone else does?
The American Dream.
But yeah, I got his point of we used to look forward to that revolutionary game at launch.
Yeah.
And it just seems to, I mean, Breath of the Wild is a recent example. It just hasn't, like the 360, what was that revolutionary game? Call of Duty 2?
Call of Duty 2 was pretty awesome.
Yeah, Call of Duty 2 was fucking awesome.
What are you talking about?
Didn't Oblivion launch with that system?
Was it a launch?
I thought it came a few months later.
I think it was March.
Yeah, it was a few months later. But dude, Call of Duty 2, like I remember going to, I want to say it was Best Buy. No, it was some other place. It was FYE in the mall. Okay, I remember this now. It was FYE in the mall, and they had Call of Duty 2 on the 360, and people were like, yo, throw the smoke grenade. And you throw it, and it looked like real smoke, and that was it. I was like, where do I pre-order this thing? You don't remember that?
Movie after review said Condemned. I believe Condemned was a
Condemned
title
was
as well.
Good too.
Project
Condemned was
Gotham
super
Racing
good.
3.
Yeah, PGR was good.
I mean, literally every
PGR
console.
Come on now.
I was on Forts at the time.
Literally every console that's done well has had a decent launch.
Call of Duty 2 was good though. I mean, it was on PC as well, but like Call of Duty
I don't
2.
know, guys.
I mean, but that's I'd say
The games that you guys are mentioning aren't anything that's like, oh my gosh, like
they weren't revolutionary in the way
but
of
they're not
like
that good.
They
Mario
were revolutionary.
64.
You got to put yourself in that time frame.
I did put myself in that time frame, and when I didn't buy the Xbox 360 at launch. I didn't think it was that great at launch.
I just played Call of Duty Finest Hour on the GameCube. I guarantee if I fired up Call of Duty 2 on the 360 on the same monitor, it would look like a generational leap, like what Lindemann is trying to describe.
Exactly.
I look at that because remember the 360 launch period was the time of shiny objects, because literally everything looked like wet or like covered in water on the 360 because they just made everything shiny. But I just remember the 360. I mean, dude, come on, Perfect Dark.
No, you can't use Perfect Dark as an example of something good at launch. That game was a steaming pile of shit.
That game was horrible. That game was horrible. That game was that game pissed me off so much.
It was great because you would shoot the enemies and there was no recoil. They wouldn't act like they're getting hit with a ball.
That game pisses me off to this day. I remember I had my 360 pre-ordered at the EB Games I was working at. I was like, I can't wait to launch it because the manager set me up, even though we weren't getting enough for all the pre-orders, that if you work there, he was going to give you the 360.
Right.
And I read the review of Perfect Dark Zero on GameSpot. They gave it a 9. I was like, it's going to be awesome. Everyone else was giving the game like 6s. I was like, no, I trust GameSpot. It's going to be good. Get the game home. I'm playing. I was like, what the fuck is this?
What's the other one? Cameo? That was another launch title, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Dead or Alive 3, 4. Which one was it launch?
I mean,
I think it was 4. And that game was awesome.
360 didn't have the killer rap, but it had a fairly decent launch lineup. Plus, it had the live arcade stuff like out of the box from day one. So there was already stuff you could download and start playing, which is kind of cool.
Do you remember when Fight Night Round 3 hit the 360 though?
Yes,
those
man.
graphics at the time. Holy shit.
And Halo 2 and 1 were just backwards compatible out of the box from what I remember. You just needed a hard drive.
Rainbow Six Vegas as well. That looked sick when that came out.
And we played Halo 2 all the time anyway, so we just literally just dropped
I
it right
played
there.
a ton of Rainbow Six Vegas on the Xbox 360. That's one of my favorite games on
That was a good time right there.
Yeah.
I really think that it should be noted that the mighty unstoppable Dreamcast at launch had Sonic Adventure Soul Calibur. It had Power Stone, and it had House of the Dead 2.
I mean, that's pretty good.
I'm just saying, pretty good. That's a pretty damn good lineup.
I just saw this title in the chat: Geometry Wars.
Hey.
That was
amazing.
That was a big thing. I remember that being like people would talk crazy about that game.
Yeah, Geometry Wars was that was an awesome game at that launch.
Geometry so.
Do we have another Discord question, Evan?
2 left, kind of, I guess. This one, shouldn't Microsoft just kind of pivot and maybe just focus on putting Game Pass everywhere and just stop selling consoles? Like, if that seems to be their goal.
No.
Okay, then.
That's
it.
Good discussion, boys.
And maybe a better discussion. What console do you think had the worst controller?
Oh, God.
If we're talking just straight up first party controllers, the CDI is up there for me because that thing's unusable, really, and it's not meant for games. The Atari Jaguar controller is I don't even know how to fucking describe it. The D-pad on it is just fucking miserable. The Nintendo 64 controller was built for people that grew up next to a nuclear silo or some shit.
That's not fair to the people of Chernobyl.
Oh my god.
Those people are
They
toxic.
should be playing PC anyway.
Oh my god, dude.
Okay, so we're talking about bad controllers then, right?
I'd say the Jaguar as well. I would agree with Alpha on that one. Jaguar was terrible.
I
don't get the Jaguar hate. I think I like it.
I don't want to go with the easy one though. I don't want to go with like that's an easy one, Jaguar, right? That's the N64 is an easy one too. You know what I'm gonna go with? I'm gonna go with. Man, that's tough.
Don't say the Duke, man. If you say the Duke,
I like the Duke. Actually, I was alright with the Duke controller. I'm gonna say
that controller was great.
Yeah, it was. I love the Duke.
That's tough.
Wasn't the PlayStation 1 controller annoying to anybody else or just me?
Oh man, that was a good.
If you go from like a DualShock 2,
yeah,
because
if you go backwards,
the analog.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna say the Dreamcast controller.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, wow. I'm gonna go because you gotta think here. I'm going between 360 controller, which is great controller, GameCube, great controller. I'm going down the line. I'm gonna go with Dreamcast.
I mean, the Dreamcast, I love the Dreamcast, but man, like the dead zone on the analog stick it's fucking nonsense.
Well, my problem is the D-pad isn't very good on it. The cord comes out of the bottom when they wanted to come out the top. So in order to solve that, they put a notch on the back for you to literally route your cable around. Yeah, I guess I'll go with that.
I'm going to go with something maybe controversial. I'm going to go with the Wii U gamepad. It is big.
Agree.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Its battery life was trash. Its range was trash.
They didn't sell them separately, and you needed it for a lot of things.
Yeah, they didn't sell it separately. My nephew bit the analog stick off.
I called Fisher Price to double check. They don't sell them separately.
Well, also, I mean, they were cool as a TV remote. You lose a TV remote, whatever.
Best TV remotes I ever had.
It was great. No, also, I think a lot of the games that you used, I didn't like the motion control and the calibration on it. Like, Twilight Princess, like they messed controls up, I think. Like Epona in Twilight Princess, like it becomes incredibly hard to control for some reason. Like the horse is drunk or something. And like the motion control for the arrows and stuff, like I just feel like it wasn't optimized very well.
The part is that system had like one of the worst controllers, but then also one of the best controllers with like the their pro controller.
It was cool, yeah.
The Wii U
It's so
Pro controller
weird.
is
Like,
one of the best controllers ever.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's like, how do they have like both of those on the same? It's strange. But I guess the Switch technically has the good pro controller and the good tablet technically when it's away from the.
Who's seen the Sega Saturn plate controller? That's the worst controller that I've ever used. It's like a dinner plate, and it just has buttons. Just
The Knights controller?
Yeah, you're talking about the Knights, the 3D analog stick?
no. There's this controller on the Sega Saturn that's just like a plate. It's just horrible. I used it. It's just like a plate, and then
Is it
also
this
like.
one?
The Sega controller, it's not the worst, but I mean, like for Street Fighter, I just remember having
It looks like the USS Enterprise.
yeah, it's like something like that.
That's the 3D analog. That's the Knights controller.
That controller's amazing.
I don't like that plate.
So good.
Wait,
That's the Millennium Falcon.
Wait, that's a Knight's controller.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me double check.
The Knights controller, I
don't think this is it, Sean. This only has one A on it.
It was just a controller that was similar to that. Whatever. My friend had a.
The controller that Miss Click put is a Dreamcast controller.
No, I'm talking about Sega
No,
Saturn.
that's not the Dreamcast controller. That's the Japanese
that's the
3D
Japanese
controller.
one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
what
the
popped
6
up.
button.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But,
the
like,
Knights controller.
The Sega controller, like the Sega Genesis controller, like trying to play Street Fighter with that was just horrible until they added like the other controller with more buttons. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of crappy controllers out there. I guess Jaguar. I remember just playing. I'm like, this controller is trash.
The Sega
Like, some of the
Activator.
older ones. Like, what are some of the controls that have like numbers on it? Like,
And television.
yeah, like Atari, like some of the Atari,
Leapfrog?
like had like numbers.
I was
Like,
gonna
those
say, if we're
controllers
going
suck.
back to old controllers,
I
just
was trying to
talk
keep
about
it
the Atari
mainstream,
3D
so we had to make a hard choice and like pick up like
Otherwise,
I had to go with
Resident
Dreamcast.
Evil 4 GameCube controller. That's a chainsaw. It's
Hey.
all fucked up.
Original Xbox, any iteration of the original Xbox controller.
What?
Fuck that
And
controller.
that's heresy.
What?
The D-pad. The D-pad is absolute dog shit on
What
every
dog
single
shit?
one of those
So
controllers.
toxic, Sean. Oh my God.
It's factual. It can't be
but-
toxic if it's
Toxic.
factual.
Wait, hold up though. But most of the games are like 3D games, like where you don't even really need to like.
Yeah, but you're supposed to hack your original Xbox and put emulators on it.
But it has the Xbox controller had the breakaway cable.
Doesn't mean it's a good controller.
Designed
That's part
for
of the
the rage
controller.
moments. It was
Yeah,
great.
it's designed so that if somebody trips over your cable, it doesn't rip the whole box down. Yeah.
I don't know,
Also the stick layout, the feeling, that's a good controller right there, especially that S
Like-
type.
I was gonna say the S-type controller ended up becoming like the de facto standard for the PC controller that everybody's been using ever since.
Yeah.
D-pad sucks.
The D-pad wasn't very good. I'll admit that.
I definitely
toxic.
never liked it. Even right now, the current Xbox One D-pad, I still don't like it. It throws me off real bad. I don't know if it's just because I'm used to like PlayStation and Nintendo D-pads, but I just can't fuck with it.
Well, I mean, I guess we could tangent
Series
question. What's the
X
best
D-pad is
D-pad?
looking good.
Yeah, actually, it kind of is. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
The best D-pad?
Yeah.
The Sega Saturn version 2 controller.
Mm.
No fans or buts about it. No debate. Move on to the next question.
Compared to even like a Super Nintendo controller?
There's no debate, sir.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'll go through some of the more of these. Oh, is that the last Discord
Yep, that's
question?
everything. We're good.
Okay.
Nice.
Go through some of these super chats. We still had one topic left, and it was an interesting one, so we'll go in a little bit over time, but we did go on a little later. We're trying to figure out some technical issues. Brent says, do any of you play visual novels? What are your favorites?
I do. I mean, if it'll count, but the Phoenix Wright series,
Yeah, that's about
bar
it,
none,
really.
my all-time favorite one.
Sure.
I know that's kind of like stretching it a bit thin there because that's more like a text-based adventure in a lot of ways. But if I'm not going to go with that, then I guess I really like I'm always bad at pronouncing it, but Danganronpa.
Yeah,
I'm
I think a
terrible
new
at
one's coming
pronouncing that.
soon. Or they're just announcing a new one soon.
What? Not Monster Prom or something?
Apparently they're announcing something, so that'll be interesting.
What the hell is Monster Prom?
I have no idea. I just hear people talking about
Sure
it.
you don't. Sure you don't.
I don't want to read.
I'll look it up.
Eric says, glad OJ is back. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate that, man. I really do.
Rusty Jaguar says, even though I'm a bit upset with Byleth, I'm happy for people who wanted him. Also feeling certain Crash is making it because of his impact in gaming history. I do think Crash will end up being one of the 6.
Yep.
I'd love that.
I think so.
Makes
think so. It makes sense. Everyone looks at it and goes, yeah, it makes sense.
Not happening.
Or just more Fire Emblem. I don't know.
Nate just let out on math, so it's probably not going to happen.
I don't see Crash happen.
Well, hey, none of us know. Nintendo does. We don't. You never know.
Gordon Freeman, I'm telling you, Half-Life Alex is coming out. Here we go.
What are you?
That was do you know that was an actual like rumor that Smash channels were talking about at one point?
No.
Gordon Freeman?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
How should I fall for this?
You could name almost any character and say that they were talking about it, and I would 100% believe you.
Yeah, but the Gordon Freeman one was actually being entertained as real.
Yeah.
Like the Grinch?
Grinch leak?
There we go with the Grinch.
Quite reach the heights of the
Nate
Grinch.
about to get some music put behind him while he yells at everybody.
Quite reaching that tier, but people were spreading around Gordon Freeman as like a fact.
No way, dude.
Yeah, I made a video on it. I told people to shut the hell up.
That sounds like your channel. The basement fan says, what should a reimagined Kid Icarus game be? I feel God of War, The Witcher, and Breath of the Wild mix.
Hell, what the sorry.
No, Factor 5 tried to make that.
Sorry.
It looked like dog shit.
No, there's no sorry, let me come. There's no need to redo Kid Icarus. The one on the 3DS is already really good. They just need to make that modern. No, that one already is a mix of kind of like what we're talking about. Not really, not the God of War, but it already has a nice mix of gameplay. It doesn't need to be done. It doesn't need to copy those. Kid Icarus they already reinvented Kid Icarus with the 3DS game. They just need to make it HD and make it to where the controls
better
are good.
controls. Yeah.
Yeah, the controls are not very good.
Game's good. Controls are ass.
Yeah, the game's amazing. That's the only problem with the game is the controls.
I love having to buy a whole separate device to play the game a little bit better.
It came with it.
And it came with a stand fringe.
The stand don't help.
The stand helps.
Stand don't help as much.
Wait a minute, is that JoJo's reference? No? Okay.
No, it's not a joke.
Juice Man Vaughn says, I was disappointed with Byleth's choice, but think the overall package is fine. The problem arises when fan complaints turn into entitlement.
Indeed.
Subsequently toxic things, as we're hearing.
Exactly.
Toxic.
Chris says, does anyone think Miyamoto should have appeared in the Universal Nintendo Land trailer? To me, Miyamoto is kind of like the Stan Lee of Nintendo / video games. I thought it would be kind of cool.
I hope he's okay. We haven't seen him in a while.
Wow, what are you? Look at this. Speculating, starting rumors.
What?
I'm not saying
Miyamoto's
anything.
sick.
He's helping.
I said I hope.
He's helping on the theme park. That's like his big project apparently. Is that he's working on that with them.
Yeah, but he hasn't been in the public eye for a while now, hasn't he? Like we haven't seen him in maybe since Starlink.
Yeah, he doesn't really. I guess he doesn't need to as much anymore.
He's kind of passing it off. Yeah.
That's intentional because they wanted to put the other guys that they have. You know,
he's moving towards retirement as it is anyway. I mean, he's like halfway there, kind of, right? Where he's like, he's not working as much as he. Yeah,
he's pretty much retired, man.
He's doing something fun. I have to imagine that Nintendo Land is fun for him to do. So.
Yeah, like
probably.
The Pikmin movies.
Considering how much Miyamoto loves Disney-related things, the idea that he kind of has the ability to create his own after a bunch of shit he's been involved with.
Yeah,
I mean that's a dream come true.
It's pretty awesome.
Just hope he's able to get off his deathbed, as reported by Miss Clip Gaming.
Oh, whoa! Mr. Sean Toxic Long over here tonight. God.
That's what happened to Ozzy. Everyone said, "Oh, Ozzy's dying. Ozzy ain't dying. He's chilling. Just
he's about to put out a brand new album.
Listen,
Yeah,
my words hold no weight in rumors. All right, so
well,
don't
they do
start.
now. The anonymous source.
Megan Nerd said, growing up with Neo Geo and Neo Geo Pocket Color and SNK as a whole, I was beyond stoked to see Terry Bogard. Such a punch to the gut hearing people be like, who's Terry?
I mean, it's criminal. Like, and on top of that, we're getting a new King of Fighters, and man, I haven't heard any Smash players be like, "Oh man, I can't wait to get the new King of Fighters." Where the fuck are you all at?
I mean, they tend not to go other ways. They just
they're putting their 17th millionth hour in Smash.
Dude, it bugged this shit out of me because I was like, man, new Samurai Showdown came out, wasn't hearing anything. I'm just like, son of a bitch.
It did come out across a long period of time, though. It wasn't just like one impactful thing. You only had it on PlayStation for a little bit.
Yeah, Evan's one of the only people I know that bought the game.
Yeah, on a system that hasn't been on in months.
Yeah, he hasn't plugged that PS4 Pro in a while. Kitsune says, what do you think about the latest rumors of new Paper Mario and Metroid this year?
I just hope Miyamoto will last to see it come out.
Oh my gosh. So, we've talked about...
Misclick leave.
We've talked about a 2D Metroid on this podcast too many times at this point.
Since 2017.
Oh my gosh. So I wouldn't be shocked to hear that. Paper Mario, on the other hand.
Paper Mario, based on Cool Splash, came out 4 years ago. The prior Paper Mario came out 4 years before that. So it seems like they're on the scheduled trend. If one is to come, it would be 2020.
Oh no. Okay.
But I mean, it's Paper Mario. Nintendo.
The part that I want to believe,
fuck it up.
The part I want to believe about that rumor is that they really are going back to a more traditional Paper Mario, like 1,000-year door Paper Mario. That's what I'm hoping. Okay.
You don't want to deal with stickers?
I'd be okay with them just being like, here's 1,000-year door HD. Cool.
I'm ready for million-old door.
100,000-year-old door. There you go, man. Let's do it.
So I wouldn't be shocked to see Metroid 2D just because it's been talked about so much, but Paper Mario, that's
no. But the interesting part about the rumor is that they said that it's related to Fusion, so that means that the story's actually advancing for the first time in 2 decades or something like that.
Yeah, that would make it Metroid 5.
Yeah, that would make it a new, because the Prime games are prequels. For those who don't know, they're set before all the Metroid stuff. So that'd be interesting because we desperately need. No, we don't need, but it would be nice for there to be some actual advancement.
We don't know. We don't know if Prime 4 is gonna jump past all of it and go into the future.
I don't think it will, but we'll see.
You don't know that,
but we'll see. I don't
if
know.
I can get anything that's like Metroid Fusion again, I'm all for that because I swear up and down that's a survival horror game. It is. It just
you're being haunted by like a nemesis.
Yeah, dude, it's horrifying. Like when you're on a different level and you see Samus's suit just walking around and shit, and you're just like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die. I'm probably gonna die." It's scary as hell.
Toshi says more excited for Cuphead Mii costume than Byleth.
Same. That costume looks great.
We're pretty excited about
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
And if you go to that person's
finger gun just right.
You go to that person's playlist on Smash, I probably got like 15 hours. Guarantee you, if he's more excited for Cuphead, okay, he probably got 15 hours with Mii Fighters. Good stuff, man. Hope you enjoy it.
Core Sonic.
Damn.
That sounds like a lot of toxicity right there.
I'm sorry. I'm a toxic fan.
Core Sonic says, I think they will show PS5 in a state of play or do an online presentation.
I think you're right.
Yes.
They'll do an online presentation. They'll probably invite people to it, like they did with the PS4.
Yeah, it'll be like what they did with the PS4. It's going to be a media event that they also have a stream of.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it'll probably leak around the time they send out invitations to media. So there you go. Wishbones asked, is Alpha done with rants or only until Game Expos?
Not done with them. My vulgar ass is I've got stuff. It's just I have to wait a little bit, but yeah, it's happening. As a matter of fact, some stuff's already done. I have to wait.
Okay, there we go.
Heard it here first.
Joshua says, should RGT and Spawnwave do a video of Spawn having to keep a straight face and be silent while RGT fixes a game system? I think this should happen.
The system would never get fixed.
I like the idea of trying to walk you through fixing a game system, Sean, over the internet. I like the idea of that in a video.
Do like a headset, like you're trying to get someone to defuse a bomb or something. You don't get to see anything. You're just like, what are you talking about?
See what Sean's doing, and Sean's just like,
oh, that would be funny. Like you just have my voice, and you have to describe to me what you're looking at. It ends
up like ninja cutting bread.
That would be fun.
Screw.
What?
That would be funny. I would that could be fun. We'll think about that, Sean. I gotta figure out a system that we can do. Maybe
something that I can actually complete.
Maybe a laser
Labo box.
Maybe a laser.
It would be a laser replacement and probably like a 360 or a PlayStation 3.
What about RGB modding like a Genesis or something?
Oh
That's
my
not-
gosh, dude,
that's not
that would
hard
be
to do.
so. Dude, there's soldering involved.
Yeah, so I ain't got no.
You want to see me try to walk Sean through soldering something with an iron that's like 300 degrees Celsius, and he's like,
Yes.
"Which end do I pick up?"
Okay,
Not wrong. Not wrong.
Yeah, because I've seen people accidentally grab like a desoldering iron before, and that is not fun. So is not great. Rexol says Crystal Dynamics can't afford Hollywood talent if it's just the look. Kind of minor quip. I'm concerned about the game in general. It's a games as a service game. I don't know why they're doing that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that. Toshi says, what if that Final Fantasy 7 demo comes out the original release date and the leak was right all along? That's what you guys were kind of speculating with as well, you Nate and MVG. So I think that's most likely right now, right? That's what we're gonna go towards until it passes. So
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Find out in 12 days.
there you go. Radberry says, what does everyone think about the Paper Mario and 2D Metroid for 2020 rumor? We talked about that. Everyone's really interested in the idea of those two games coming out this year. So.
Damn jabronis.
The Robot Chicken says the light bar is the dumbest DualShock 4 feature. You can't see it directly when holding the controller, and it just makes glare in your TV. There's some cool instances of use for it, and you need it for the VR headset anyway. So
The light bar's supposed to be not coming back, right?
that is the speculation rumor from patents and stuff. Although who knows, the controller could end up looking different from the patents we're seeing, but I assume they need that for the next VR headset. Shalaris says, do you think Ninjala will catch on as well as Splatoon did when it finally releases?
No.
I mean, are we talking about West or Japan?
West.
I feel like it never really caught on in the West, to be honest.
What, Splatoon?
Yeah.
What?
I think it's dead.
Let's be honest, though. I mean, how many people actually gave it a chance? You know what I'm
A
saying?
lot.
I
Millions.
just don't.
It's sold very
10 million
well.
copies, so it's definitely got a lot of sales here in the U.S. I don't know how many people got hard like you have gotten into it, you know, and like I mean even to me in some regards, but I still think it did well enough. Japan is definitely a little bit more crazy about it.
A little bit more, yeah.
The majority of
Ninjala-
online players come from Japan, man.
Yeah,
Ninjala isn't gonna
online
be
numbers
anywhere
is really
near-
what I would want to look for in that game, since it's supposed to be
Yeah.
focusing on that, but they never really tell you any of that.
Yeah.
See, we all know the best Splatoon 2 player is, and it is within this cast that we have on right now.
I'm sorry I
And
ripped
it
you
is
guys to
Evan.
shreds, but like
It is Evan. Evan is the best Splatoon 2
that
player on the
heavy
Spawncast.
splatling player over there.
well, the level 20 ripping people apart. It's fine.
Ninjala's not going to be like.
Let me this one's for OJ. Thoughts on Fire Emblem DLC? New characters look great, they said. That's from Sacon 10.
Really excited for the Fire Emblem DLC. That the fact that they're exploring the Garabok Monastery, because when you play the game, you realize like they start talking about like we don't even know who built, you know, what, like how long, like how far back it was built. We don't know what's going on underground. Like there's a lot of stuff that they allude to in the game. So the fact that we get to actually explore that and go into it is absolutely phenomenal.
Cool. All right, very good, very good.
Yeah.
And then David Valdez, shout out to OJ. Congratulations on his recent engagement.
Thank you.
Right now, I am playing Phantasy Star 4 on the Sega Genesis Collection on the Switch. Also, Lunar Silver Star Harmony on the PSP. You guys are great.
Yes.
Very nice, very nice.
Right on, man.
And then the Robot Chicken says the works controller, the LJN NES Rock and Roller. I will agree with that. Let's do our last topic here. We're in overtime, so if anyone has to run off, that's fine. Just let us know so you can do your outro, and then we have a few other super chats left before we finish up. Thank you, Sean.
No problem.
You call that toxic?
So we had some pretty big I mean, it's reported, it's been kicked around a lot, and I do think it's probably going to be announced fairly soon. I think it's going to coincide with the game's 3rd anniversary that's coming up pretty soon. That's at the end of February. It's Horizon Zero Dawn, apparently going to PC natively, not as a streaming thing. Sony has apparently okayed the idea of Horizon Zero Dawn being ported to the PC, which was originally a PlayStation exclusive, and this has people all over the place right now because
Love
it
it.
does look similar to what Microsoft This is like how Microsoft kind of got started, moving some of their properties over, and now we see what they're doing, which is like everything just goes to PC day and
Did
day.
anyone like burn their copy of Horizon or like blow up their PlayStation 4 because of this?
Yes, there were people. I
Really?
saw somebody who took their copy of Horizon and threw it in the toilet and was like,
What?
"F you, man!" Like they were pulling like that.
What?
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter.
Like what?
People in white
Yes.
outfits show up and put them into
This
the
is
paddy
odd.
wagon, drive them away.
I'm
Like,
confused. I'm confused about that game is so old that it's like $8 on sale, $6 on sale now. I don't think Sony makes much money from it anymore.
It's not really of any consequence at this point. Like, if they can sell more copies, why not?
And
Years and
Decima's coming to PC, right? We knew that was happening with Death Stranding, so why not? Why not bring it to the PC? You know,
Speaking of, when is that supposed to come out?
sometime
like
we know?
next year.
It's like mid
Yeah,
year, I
yeah.
think, right? Like
Yeah,
quarter three, I
Okay.
think, is something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll announce an actual date for that. But Horizon Zero Dawn on PC, first of all, that game's going to look insane on PC because it already looks really good on PS4. So I'll be curious to see that 60 frames, all of that. That'll be really cool. The modding scene could maybe take over too and do some interesting stuff with that game at that point. But there was also word that this won't be the last Sony game going to PC.
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne would be interesting. I think Dreams will make the jump.
Oh, yeah.
as soon as possible.
Dreams is a dude,
That was heavily hinted, and the developers even said, I think it was last year in an interview, that they want to bring Dreams to as many platforms as possible.
That's Media Molecule too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so it's actually Dreams is a good fit for PC with the modding.
Dreams has PC all over it.
yeah, I started it up, and the first thing it wants you to do is basically move a mouse around, but you use the gyro function on the PlayStation 4, and like I was like, this should just be on PC because you're just building stuff anyway. It's a game that just builds other games. So I think that one makes the most sense. But let's say it's not Dreams. Let's say it's not or Dreams and Horizon Zero Dawn out of the way. You already said Bloodborne. What do you guys think the next game is that Sony would announce to go to PC?
The Uncharted trilogy.
Wow.
Ooh, that would be
I think
big.
that they're ballsy enough to, only because Horizon was a big title for them, and the Uncharted trilogy, I mean, they've how many more times can you re-release it, you know? And that's a big ass IP. Years and years ago, Sony had said that they wanted the PlayStation brand to inevitably just kind of be a service, kind of like Steam. And this was ages ago. And I can imagine that this is them kind of testing the waters of just trying to put out their stuff on other platforms to see exactly how well it'll fare. And I mean, what better thing to utilize than the Uncharted series? I don't see them doing 4 just yet, but I mean, that'd be my guess.
in before Killzone.
I'm-
Don't forget, Detroit's coming as well, right?
Yeah, Detroit. Yeah, that is. And man, I'm between either Infamous Second Son or Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank would be a good pick.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
like older games, you know, like games that are a bit older that they would be like, well, we're not really doing anything with it anyway. Like I don't think God of War is going next year or anything like that.
No.
But I was thinking of like some older games that they just have basically laying around. See, because I think Horizon Zero Dawn works because Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is most likely coming, and they're like, we'll put it on PC and we'll let the PC gamers see what we have on our platform, and maybe they'll want 2 and they'll buy a PS5, or they'll just wait for it to come to PC. Yeah, that's why I'm like, maybe if they have another Infamous coming at some point, they'll put Infamous over. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting over the next couple of years. This generation going is gonna be weird.
I don't think it's going to be anything like what Xbox is doing, though.
They'd have to put something out on release on PC as well as PlayStation 5.
See, they're not going to. I don't think they're going to do anything like that.
I mean, they're doing with MLB. Apparently, MLB is going to go everywhere.
Well, and no MLB, but that was more of a decision from Major League Baseball.
True.
I mean, that was the reason why it happened, because Major League Baseball wanted it to get on all platforms. Although it was a first party title, Sony still didn't have full rights to it. It's not like Sony could be like, well, no, MLB, we're not going to do that.
It'll be more interesting if their Sony studio develops 4 other platforms. Is it Sony San Diego? Yeah, it'd be interesting to see them be like, well, we got to build the Switch version. You know, that'd be interesting.
I think they'll outsource
They'll
it.
outsource it, yeah. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see that. But I actually don't think this is going to affect Sony too much going into the PS5 because all their stuff will stay on the PS5 for a while after it comes out. Like, I don't even think we'll get to a point next generation where it's. Do you guys think next generation we'll see a PC and a PS5 release same day of a Sony first party game?
No.
I wouldn't dismiss the possibility, but I would say the likelihood is low.
I think it's possible with like a smaller end game.
Do you think they
like
could
medieval or something like or medieval or whatever that game is called, something like that? That could probably be that could be like a day one on PC and PS5.
Do you think they're building towards having their like PlayStation Now is all streaming on PC? And then they get to the point where you can download the games and it be native on your PC as well. If they have enough titles that they've moved over along with third-party stuff, like
I know
the PS4
that on
is all
PlayStation Now, they've got a lot of games that you can download, but it's namely just like the PS4 titles, like all the PS3 related things that were like on disc and just through PSN. Like you can only stream those. Personally, I didn't think the streaming was the greatest, but it also wasn't the worst I experienced. Shout out to the Stadia, all three people on it.
Hey man,
but
it's tough over here.
To me, like I can definitely see them wanting to like branch out the brand onto something like that and try to like foolishly take on Steam. I mean, everybody else is starting up their own fucking game client, so why not?
If Sony does make the jump to PC like that, they will absolutely have their own client. They are not. I don't think they're going to be like moving all their stuff to PC under Steam or something and give them 30% of everything. So it'll be. That's gonna be. I'm telling you, this generation coming out is gonna be weird.
Bring it on.
We'll see, man. We'll see how it all goes. I got some super chats here, and then we can finish up. So let me go through this. As Mario says, let's get this right. I like a dude the cha-cha. I like a dude the cha-cha. Joel says Persona is kind of a visual novel.
I don't know about that.
That was a joke.
RPG I've been playing has been a fucking straight up visual novel.
That was a joke. He said Persona is a visual novel.
Kind of kind with capital letters on kind.
Yeah, he's just joking.
Zaire Miller says, "Do any of you believe the Paper Mario rumors?" Everybody liked this bit. I'm telling you, if it's Paper Mario stuff, people are serious about it.
I mean, it's been 4 years. It's typically every 4 years, so the timing fits. But
I want to believe.
I mean, how did you all feel about Color Splash?
Don't like
great writing, bad gameplay.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. Like the battles, there's like no point in doing them. Which is
there's also the rumor that we're going to be getting another Mario and Luigi game. I don't know if you guys saw that.
That would be cool too.
Oh.
What's really funny? What's really funny is it was
the studio behind all those games? I know that they closed down.
Alpha Dream, yeah.
Alpha Omega.
Like they like it kind of made me sad because I was just like, why didn't Nintendo just scoop them up and just like turn them like completely in house? Like
they'd probably just hire all the people who get like basically out of a job, and they just pick the talent they want probably if they were going to do it, and then we'd never hear about it.
I don't know. To me, it was just odd because like they've already proven themselves to be quite competent, and they've put out a lot of really good games. I love the Mario and Luigi games, and with like I love Paper Mario, but it's like each new entry they just keep on trying to pull out gimmicks and shit. And they're like, okay, we gotta shake things up with this new one, so it's not like the last one. And Nintendo's all about that. So I'm like, you don't got to. Like, if you do that, suddenly the series, because that's what it is, feels disjointed, and it.
Before it's Mario and Luigi switching it up. And there's some gimmick with the Joy-Cons and everything.
Yeah,
sounds like a good idea.
That's like, I do not want to deal with any waggle control shit. Like that's one.
You're gonna be waggle.
For the most part, it's just left in the past. But all the waggle control shit, nah, I'm good on all that.
Get ready to waggle.
Eric says, Sean, when Rob Halford dies, I will cry.
I mean,
Sean's gone.
Sean is okay. Sean's gone. Okay. Mush says that means it's related to the Samus Returns secret ending, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
'Cause we all know that, right? We all know what happened. Yep.
yes.
Yep. We're all aware. We're gamers. We know.
Wolverine 101 says so. Roger Deakins is that's for Metroid. That's for Metroid 5, Jordan.
What?
No, nothing. Wolverine 101 says so. Roger Deakins is going to win another Oscar.
Probably.
Yes.
Zaire Millers has been playing the Zero Escape games. I just finished $9.99. I really like it. Now playing Virtued Last Reward. Highly recommend it.
I like both of those.
Yeah, good games.
Ice says Xbox Game Pass plus Disney plus partnership equals game over. Xbox Game Pass Disney partnership game over.
Yeah.
Disney,
excited.
though?
Yeah.
Want to bring Disney in?
I don't know.
Disney, great. Game
We're gonna get
over.
10 cents.
Yeah, get 10 cent. What's 10 cent doing? Moonman Moo says, will you do a raid tonight? Is there anyone to raid?
There's a lot of raid stuff going
Dragon Ball
around.
Who can we raid? Is there anyone we can raid tonight?
Is Shadow Legend streaming?
Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
Is you said Avedon is?
Yeah, he's playing Dragon Ball Kakarot on
see?
PC max settings.
People were asking about that. There we go. People can go check out Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. All right, cool. You want to drop that in the chat? Anyone who has the link, and you guys can raid Avedon and say hi. Let's go around here as we finish up. Alpha, thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate it.
Yay. I was glad to be on.
You got anything coming up you want to let people know about? Any plug or anything?
My announcements are going to shock some people because they'll be like, holy shit, that's a lot more than we were bargaining for. It'll be cool. It's just it's so much work. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm making a studio which is basically done.
Holy shit, that's more than we bargained for.
To come in. Huh?
What?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for like more shit to come in. Oh yeah, Alpha needs to buy better lighting. And no, this is just an old webcam. I just need a better webcam. But yeah, it's cool stuff will be coming up. That's all I can say right now.
Cool. All right, very good. OJ, good to have you back on the podcast, man. What do you got coming up?
Dude, it's freaking awesome to be back, man. Thanks for having me once again. And yeah, I'm gonna be returning live streaming early February. My Pokemon ban is up, so I'm excited about that. I got a bunch of cool stuff planned in terms of content and daily streams. I'm also back to creating regular content as well. So if you like RPG, Japanese news, Smash Brothers, Fire Emblem, all that stuff, I cover all that, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, all that stuff. So check out the channel when you can. Okay.
MVG, what's going on, man? What you got coming up?
Thanks for having me on the show. You can find me on Twitter at Modern Vintage G, YouTube Modern Vintage Game on Monday. I've got a video coming out on the Game Boy Color. I tore this thing apart, not physically, not like you, but I took a look at the graphics on this thing and how it all works. So it's a really cool technical video coming out Monday, my kind of style. So check it out if you like my stuff on the channel.
Cool. And then Nate.
You can find me on Direct Feed Games, 1080p.
Find me on Sean's porch smoking a cigarette while eating Mitch the cactus plant and watching Suzanne Summers infomercials from the 80s of the Thigh Master.
That's toxic.
And selling toxic waste to the pig man from Captain Planet.
That show sucks. I hated Captain Planet.
Don't hate on Ted Turner's creation.
Captain Planet was trash. I don't care what anybody says.
What do you got coming up What do you got coming up, Nate? You got another Nate the Hate episode coming up?
Yeah, I got a Nate the Hate episode coming up. I'll probably talk about the Xbox Series X and why I disagree with MVG and think Microsoft is going the right path.
You just have to watch it later. You can experience it.
Yeah. And I'm not sure about... I need to look at some games.
Mate.
I should just have you on and we can discuss it.
Hey, dude, that's a good idea. We should totally do that.
Convo.
There you go. That'd be cool.
Yeah, the first Nate they hate collaboration with MVG, the Series X.
Moving up in the world.
In the future.
All right. And then Sean.
Well, today we did my toxic video, so it's stemming from.
You can find me in Chernobyl selling toxic waste and poisoning Mitch in my bowels.
So I suggest you watch that. We're also very close to 270,000 subscribers, so hit that subscribe button. As far as what's coming up, I'm not really sure. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. And then Miss Click.
Hey, thanks for having me on again. You know, I'm not a toxic positivity person, I guess, but I had a lot of fun. You can catch me pretty much live every day except for Sundays, so no tomorrow. Live at twitch.tv/misclick_live. We're there. I think this coming week we are going to be trying a couple new games. We were going to start today, but it was having trouble downloading for some reason. We're going to be doing Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Nintendo sent a code out for that, so we're going to be trying that out. That'll be interesting. And then we're also going to be starting Nier Automata for the first time. I've never played that game, so I'm very excited.
You like that game.
Yeah, and then we might dive into some Escape from Tarkov. We'll see. Not sure, but yeah, be good.
It's rough.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions is fantastic. Rough. I gotta.
Yeah, I just picked that up on Friday. I'm interested in getting into that after Kakarot's done.
Yeah, I was supposed to try it today.
I already beat the game on the Wii U, but the Switch version is even better because it doesn't do to look down at the gamepad all the time.
I heard the load time was much better too.
Yeah, it has improved, and you can speed up combat. Yeah, you don't have to. It doesn't take forever. You can just boom.
Yep, nice. it is a much better version of the game, so it's great.
Cool.
Jordan.
I have really nothing to promote. Not really doing much at the moment of my own stuff, but if you have some, extra few dollars to donate to help out the Australian bushfires, there's a link with a bunch of different ways you can help, from the firefighters to displaced families to animals, all that stuff. I'd highly suggest checking it out if you can spare a couple bucks.
Okay. And then Evan, got anything for him?
Just follow me on Twitter. I'll usually announce when I'm going live for a stream or something there. I'll just post up my recent work that I did there. My streams tend to just be me doing random stuff, but we talk about things outside of like the work I'm doing. So I can just hang out. It's kind of chill place.
Cool. Okay, that's gonna do it here for Spawncast episode 146. We'll be back next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see you guys then.